Listen, guys, it's gonna be an amazing day. It's gonna be a revelatory day. And you know what we do here? We don't talk about the glit and the glam. We talk about the grit and the grind. And we bring your favorite people. And today, without further ado, we are not waiting for anybody to join. We are going straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll for the one and only Kid Solo. And how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm fine. How are you doing too?
I am very, very well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Wow.
I feel so great being here today.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a privilege. Listen, I didn't even play music. I didn't even wait for anybody to join. As I entered, you entered, we started. Let's go. Oh my God. Welcome to Bookie's Place. You know what we do here. We use our personal experiences to encourage someone going through similar, situations so they can see that if K Solo went through that and he's standing, I have no excuses. I am going to take my destiny and do it, by not by hook or crook, but you know what I mean.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's about ordinary people in their ordinary lives doing extraordinary things. And you've been one of the major blocks in creating the music industry that we have today. So we want to
Bookie Map
hear
by me now.
we want to hear your story. We want to hear it from the beginning and then transition into wherever you want to go. And I'm just going to sit back, relax, and let's get it. Welcome to Bookie's Place.
It's a privilege. I'm so happy. I know, like it's been a long time coming, and like you said, it's you, Bookie's place. So because it's Bookie's place, I have no option. I'm here.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So tell us your story from beginning where you were born and we transition to wherever you want to take it to.
Okay, I don't want to be emotional. I've been having I'm having slight headache because I've been trying to gather my head together. What do I want to say? I just have one You get what I'm saying? So it's been in my head. So basically, I was given birth to in Lagos in Nigeria. Yeah. My father is is a banker. Was a banker. He's late now. He was a banker, and my mom is a military woman. She's a retired major general. Yeah, and how the two of them clicked, I don't know. How they found themselves, I don't know. So it's a major.
Wow.
I don't understand. So my dad, in every home they always say the women are always the spiritualist. They pray more often and do all that. But in my own case, it's like a reverse. My dad prays more. I won't lie, more than my mom. Like when I grew up to know them, he prays a lot. And seeing a banker living that kind of life it shocks me most time. But I let me move forward. I was born into a Christian home, and specifically, I was born into a Celestial family.
Mm.
I was born into a Celestial family. That was where I learned how to play music instrument. And I left Cele, if I'm not mistaken myself. I think I was like 15, 16 when I
Mhm.
left. I have had that. Okay, before I go there, I happen to be I have 6 sisters, elder
Mhm.
sisters. I'm the only boy. I'm the last born in my family, and none of them do music, and they're doing very well, very very well, and I just chose music, and I chose music now. My dad was that kind of person that did not want me to do music because he's a banker, and
Mhm.
he believes that you being the only boy, he's not going to die and leave no legacy. He needs that legacy to keep him flying. So, and I happen to be a very big disappointment to him, seeing me that his only boy chose to do music. And at that time, he called it Ishalagbe, you know. And Alagbe means people who just sing for people and entertain people and walk away. Nothing, there's no reward. They're just there. So he didn't like it, you know. He just and part of the excuses was given that was like, okay, you need to go to school, you need to go to school. I went to school, I graduated. I went to Nigerian Military School in Zaria, thanks to my mom. But I didn't go to ND and I ran away because I didn't want to die there. I came back to Lagos and I finished in Laropo. I studied electrical engineering. Moving forward, my dad didn't like music. He didn't want me to do music. But But psychologically, he didn't know. He actually made me love music because as a young boy, you grow up and they wake you up like 6 a.m. every day to do morning devotion. And on Saturday, no school, so we sleep longer. Nobody should wake us up. But you know, when it's waking you up on Saturday again, it still gives you that benefit, like, okay, wake up like 7, 8. And when he wakes you up like 7, 8, it's not just waking you up, it's waking you up with music, loud, Obi, and Sonny playing. And he didn't know in the sense that it was what I was actually putting music, and music is inbuilt, you know, it just comes into you unconsciously. So it was part of me, inside me. So I grew like that, you know. But I didn't like this music thing. But I didn't know how this love started growing, you know. I got born again, you know, in a Redeemed church, you know, and I started learning the instruments, the music. I knew how to play from his church, but I switched into understanding it more when I joined the Redeem, you know. I started developing myself. But as a young man trying to still play music, I met a lot of my friends those years and saying that, music, money no dey inside church. Oh. And I'm like, did they pay money in church? He said, yes, they play to play now. I say, wait, let me look for a church who will begin to play me. Then I left the Redeemed church. I left for another Redeemed church that was probably bigger, and they were paying me some stipends then. Okay, because I'm still that kind of guy that still want to learn more, wants to grow more. Some other of my bad friends to call me and like, guy, you can play one man band, you can play in the club, or all those stuff. Are like, they pay. I see those ones, even they spray you. I say, yeah, long band. Then I got up. I played in Sheraton Hotel in Lagos. I played in Nikon Sheraton in Abuja. I played in Pintos in Okwebi Island. Then I played in Why Not on VI. I played live band, you know. I didn't know where God was taking me. I was just doing my thing and I was making money. And at that time, I played the club, you know. So then don't forget I was in school. So I was still sorting my lecturer. So he helped me graduate on time. So I left school. But now I now faced it real life. I faced it real life and I was doing this music thing for real back to back. I was making a lot of money. I wouldn't lie to you. And lest I forget, when I was in secondary school, I repeated like twice because of this same music, because I had to, you know. And as in when I was in SS2, I repeated. Then when I was in SS1, I repeated. Then I repeated again in SS in what they call it in SS2. Then I had so many girlfriends. You know, the girlfriends I had were my SS3 or the SS3 students. So they come to my class, you know, and those ones that felt like I was their mate, that came to meet me in that class, will come and like, this boy a big boy, nah, our senior in the day too. But in their head, they never knew that I repeated class. I had one bad teacher then, my father maths teacher. She will always seize my Walkman. She knows that I come with the school with the Walkman, so she sees my Walkman all the time. You know, that was like the journey growing as a young boy, being stubborn and trying to get all this done. So moving forward, I was able to get the knowledge of understanding live sound and all that. Then I wanted to do more. I needed more, so I moved into recording studio. The recording studio, I came in as an artist that wanted to sing, but you know, when I saw the gadgets, it's not the gadgets we have now again. You know, then it was analog. So you have a very big long mixer. You have all the racks. So you know, over and over, and like more. You know, so I got interested in that. So I started learning sound engineering and all that. And I won't forget, there was a guy that actually tried to train me then. His name is Sheson. One fat Sheson like that. It's very popular in Nigeria. And then, you know, he started teaching me how to learn it then, you know. So I studied how to play. So the first person I actually recorded, I produced was one gospel artist. His name is Bless Uche Martins. Bless Uche Martins is the husband to I think the producer for Bedu on Africa Magic or Africa AIT then, you know. Her name is Dorcas Uche Martins. Her husband is the gospel artist. He sang one song, at that year. That was when I produced that song. That was my first ever song I produced in my life, you know. And when I was done with that, it just started. That was how I started. And I was now, you know, there's this studio prostitution that was living in us there. We jumped from one studio to the other because we just want to know what's happening and all that. We started jumping. you know. So I was moving in the course of moving, and let me just switch up. Then I met a guy who's a friend of mine. His name is Ken Richard. Ken Richard is the manager to Power Play, you know. One day he just called me like, oh boy, this is waka waka, they work up and down. But I don't show. Power Play, don't set up studio for Lagos. So, and this studio, he has Mark. I say, Mark, what's Mark? Mark in Nigeria. Mark in Nigeria. This is only this is
Kenny
probably the only.
that Kenny that his hair is like this. He has.
You know, he said, move up, we move share lori ni ma bolodo po. I'm like, are you sure that there are two kokada? Pam. As I when I got there, they were doing interviews for engineers in this. You know, the sound engineer, not the producer. But I've always adored Paul. You know, I've always liked his style. You know, so it was an opportunity for me. So I got there. They shut down. They already closed, and I got and I sat down outside. I was like, oh boy, what do you want? I said I came for the auditioning, and I'm like, auditioning. I don't think this is going to work this time. I said, bro, but you need to just listen to me or let me try. And he said, have you worked on Mac before? I said, yes. I said, Mac, you, where? Oh, yeah. And she studio for and they opened the studio and like, put it on, set up the studio, just put on the studio. And I came and I saw the PC. I saw everything in one head. It was an iMac. There was no button in the front of it like our normal PC. We'll see buttons now, you know. I just used my brain. I just put my hand through the back, and when I felt it, I saw a button. I just pressed it. Just came out. I looked at me like, okay.
Eco.
One way or the other. He said, "You can go. No worry, we'll call you." I said, "Bros, are you sure?" Say you can go. He called me the third day. Come to the studio, come and resume and start working with me. And I said, "Wow, like that." I did not talk about how much you want to pay me or what I was going to get from it. Don't forget, music has been feeding me, has been giving me money from secondary school. Don't forget. It has been feeding me from secondary school. I've been making money. So, but I worked with pop because this was my love. This is what I wanted to do. So I went there for the love of it, you know. So I didn't talk about money. So we just started working. We did first track, did the tracks and worked and on like that. It didn't some weeks after I came back and said, I learned you're a producer. We are letting out the studio, let's work together, let's work on the track. I said, okay. We entered the studio. That's how Angel of My Life came to life.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it. You know, we started, and it was just like, okay, I wanted to work on an album. We started working on the album gradually. Some few ones, he would do the skeleton from his house. We'll bring it down. We are listening to it. What do you think you can do? Okay, I think I can play guitar on this. I play guitar on that. You know, okay, I think I can balance this. I balance this. That was how the introduction of K-Slow to industry started. I've omitted a lot of stuff. You know, I had to just do this as a quick summary before I can make it bigger. You know, that was the introduction to the industry where people begin to know that, oh, there's a person called K-Slow. And, you know, a lot of people will come to the studio then and make payments to Paul, like, okay, I paid you, do this job for us. I end up doing most of the jobs, you know. It was through Paul, in Paul's studio that actually made Don Jazzy too. You know, at the time, Don Jazzy came to work on Twin-X, these twins from Ibadan, you know. He came to work on their project, you know. Then, and they heard that, there's one bad guy in the studio too. Yeah, now, how much did you collect? And I produced in the album then too, you know. That was how I started from that place. But now moving forward, I wasn't born with a silver spoon, even though my father had everything. I don't know this kind of person. I don't know if he just chose to grow me that way, you know, but I had everything I needed, but I wasn't exposed. I wasn't given money. I didn't have money. You can only see that, oh, he wears good clothes and he does not walk in barefoot. Okay, there's a driver to drive me around, but I don't have. All I am seeing right now, I'd never had it, you know. So, but I needed to do a lot for myself. In the point, there's some fast food that I don't want to mention their name, you know, that I started building with them as a laborer. In the course of being as a laborer, I ended up being the supervisor because I had to run out of my father's house very early in the morning before he wakes up, you know, because I had to go and resume there. So they felt I was diligent, but never knew it was because if my dad wakes up like this, I won't go. So I had to run out of the house early in the morning to go and do this job so I can have little stipends to take care of myself as a young man, you know. And moving forward, before that point, after Paul's point, I somebody spoke to me when I was in Paul. His name is Eric. Eric has to, I think is the company manager, playground entertainment manager. He called me and said, Kesolo, let me tell you something today. When you come work with Paul Play, or you come work in places like this, you can never make money. But you will get this idea, the sense, the professionalism, you get it from this place. That just let me tell you the truth, this is what you have come to learn here. Don't think in your head that you're going to make money from this place. And if you want to make money, take your leave. Whenever so at that particular time, I used to have some little fracas with Paul's wife then, because you know me, I am the disciplined person when it has to do with my job. I joke right now, but when I get into the studio, I'm probably a new person, another person entirely, until when we are dancing. But until when we get to that point, I'm not smiling. So because I believe that this is my field. I had a lot of fracas with her. So I didn't want to work, most times, okay, like Paul don't really sing in the country. He travels to UK most of the times, and you see people come like to the studio and like, we want to come make bookings and all that. And she sees that in the reception like, Paul is not around, you guys should come back. And next month we'll be back. I'm like, no, it's not Paul will come see Kesolo. It's Kesolo want to work with and all that. So it became a fracas between me and her. At the time I had to take my mind like, oh man, I had to take my leave. And at that point, I was working on Oyeniyi's album. Lest I forget, I produced Oyeniyi's album too, the Oruka album too. And
wait, you produced
yeah.
Oruka Titono?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh.
So moving forward, when Sonny heard that I was one that actually produced with Paul's Itville album, he came and said, okay, let's work on another album. What was the I think Off the Hook album, where he had the Abose Day, the R&B album that he did, Then I worked on that full album. At the time I was working on that album was almost when I was leaving Paul Play's place,
Mm-hmm.
The miracle of Nate is this. I spoke to him like, bro, I'm leaving this place. And how much did I charge for a whole album? Then I think like 80,000 or 70,000, for the whole album. Then he called me and said, you know what, okay, so take this 80,000 naira. And on that, he gave me the 80,000 naira. I rushed to Computer Village to go and fix my computer, and I started recording in my house. I did that album in my house. I recorded that album. I fixed my album in that house I passed my neighbor generator, At that time, that passed my neighbor generator is, I had no money for UPS. So when that generator is working, if you just, the computer will switch off, it will restart again. So if you don't save, you are gone. It was terrible, so man, so many things coming into my head. I went through that process of starting to recording, but then people knew Kesolo in the industry, but nothing was happening. Broke ass. Nothing was happening. One day, I think it was Sound Sultan that called me, like, oh boy, Alpha, what you need to do for us now? I guess somewhere for Port Harcourt, I won't go. You go, me will go do talent, George for a talent hunt. I said, what did I do now? You carry me, me will go now. So we went to this talent hunt in Port Harcourt. It's called Street to Star. The host of the owner of that set it up was Elda Kubo, the veteran actress. You know her. He's the brain behind that. And we got there. It was me, Basochara Jr., Sound Sultan, that were actually the judges. So it was that talent on that I met Timaya. He, just singing, he lost his voice towards the finals, and I saw so many small potentials in him that he was going to do very well for himself, So I was Basoch. I told Basoch about it, and like, I needed to help this guy, but I don't know how to help him. I don't get studio, I don't get anything, I'm just trying to fix myself, So what happened? I'll put him for my house. Then Basoch agreed that I was going to house him. Then I said, okay, what about the studio? He said, okay, I was going to speak to Daniel Wilson. Daniel Wilson was my friend. He's my
Whoa.
friend.
I just spoke to him. He's coming on the show too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also I spoke with Daniel. Daniel said, okay, come and use my studio. So I brought him out to Lagos. So we started recording in Daniel Wilson's studio. But Daniel is I don't know Daniel of now. Daniel of then that I know. I know Dennis. You want to hear? Daniel is a gangster. He's a real gangster. So, and at that time, Dana sleeps. He sleeps in the morning like this. Like he wakes up like 4 p.m. That's when his morning is starting. So like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Dana is very active. You know, so one of the nights like this, we're just chilling and gisting and drinking, you know. And it was just like, I want to do this to my guy now. I didn't make I put money on top of him. But so I said, okay, me, I go do this one too. I go do, you know. I was hearing these words. I'm like, it's not what I feel. I just saw this guy. I wanted to, you know, but this is not what I feel about this guy. This is not what I want him to achieve. So I saw two greedy men trying to bring out something out of him, you know. So, and my idea was not about just the money. I was about his career and how it could affect me too. Because I wouldn't lie to you. I still love young boys right now and say that I'm a producer and you don't know K Solo. You're a producer and you don't know Dr. Dre. You know, you're doing a particular job, you don't do research. I do a lot of research, and I know that this the only way you can actually make relevancy for yourself as a producer is through an artist. And most artists in Nigeria, there was no label. The major label we had then was probably Storm Records, Kenny's Music, Question Mark was Kelvin was just by the side too, trying to, you know, pitch up. I think Kelvin had Cobhams under his armpit then, you know. Wookie, everything is banking through my head.
Next level too.
God. You know, I just remembered Cobhams. I remember when I was working on Face Out. Okay, no. Then I when I had the conversation between Daniel and Basoj on Timaya, the next morning he was sleeping. So when he woke up in the morning, I just told him, you know, this guy, I don't think it's right for you to work here. At this point, I want to take this bull by the horn myself. I'm going to also and say I can set up a studio for myself, you know. Don't forget I already had a computer, but I've never had a major standard studio. So I started that also. The first thing I did was I went to meet my dad. Old man, this is what you've been asking me to do. School. I'm done with this school. You are a banker. I'm not just a banker. You are the regional manager for AfriBank. And you're actually the regional manager for IBW. IBW is the head. AfriBank is like the subsidiary. Yes. And you are the zona. And the branch which you lead, which is in Marina, Lagos, you are the bank manager. So, and every day you just say somebody every weekend, every weekend you see people just bring bag of rice, bring to the house. I'm like, and when you say, and surely it's a motu Momsi will come and say, should I bro Gani here? I bet no share. I bet, you know, I hear this every day. These people bring a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, now I want to set up a studio. This is what I want to do. I'm done with school. And I won't forget that particular day because it meant so much to me. It was like a beginning of my life, you know, to be who I am thinking I've been dreaming to be. I called him to my mom's room. I won't forget. I brought an akoti, you know, a stool, and I put it down for him to sit. And and my mom was sitting on the bed, and I stood and I knelt down. And so I'm like, Dad, please, I want to start up a studio. You've helped so many people. This is your own son now. You need to help me. You know, point blank, but I just look at my face and I'm like, yo, Solomon, maybe no, I can't do it. I'm like, you know, that word actually was like, it saddened me. I wept in that moment. My mom wept too because she knew my dad could do it. But he didn't want to do it because it felt like you shouldn't do this music. You shouldn't do this music, you know. I felt bad, but you see that happened that day was actually what changed my life. I got up by myself. I went back to the world. When I mean the world, I went back to my live performance, my live shows. When I went back, I was already behind. You know, I had to fix up with. See, I backed up. There's a guy called Ayodele. Ayodele used to play a live band and the airline plays in Excellence Hotel to Ayo, Dele, you know. Then there's a guy too, they call him Akin Sugar. He's the Sugar band right now. We're actually in the same band together. I started playing keyboard for that band. Me that was already playing it live on my own, you know. I and Akin was backing up Ayo then, you know. And Akin used to have his own little shows then too. I should also back him up. So I started picking up my pieces from that place. Then I looked at it like, okay, now I can't afford money to buy the equipment and also afford money to pay for the rent. My dad has a house and we have space, big space. And I took that challenge and I looked at him like, if you're going to kill me here and you will kill me, at least you can't chase me out of my father's house. Then I started nailing the ground by myself, wood, 2 by 2. Everything I learned in school started forming in my head. I literally wired my studio by myself. You see the wire peeled that side. There's a picture that Rocketman posted some time ago. In Flavor, when he bought Flavor, when I was working on the project with them, people were like, what kind of studio is this? That was a studio then. I nailed that studio and it started like that. Every job I did there was always coming out banging. My dad still did not believe in me. I still go back to him like, okay, I needed this little. Even issue, nail, my dad would never give me money for it. It was so wicked at that time. That's what I would say then. But I'm going to get to a point when you know that it wasn't wicked to me. I felt it was so wicked to me, but I later realized that it wasn't actually wicked to me. It's because it was that kind of old ways. He wanted me to be a particular person that he wants me to be, but it wasn't deep enough to understand that for every child, for every human, God has destined you for who you are supposed to be, not who you want me to be. He was seeing crowd around me. He was seeing a lot of people come around me. Akesolo, I'm like, he doesn't. The worst part, if my dad walks on the road and you say, Daddy Kesolo, if he looks at you twice, you will die on that spot. Because he looks at you and asks you, Shake Kesolo, because move on 1 minute. But trust my mom. Moms are always there, supportive. When they call my mom like this, Mommy Kesolo, she's already waving. You get. So he didn't want it. There was a particular time I won't remember when I was working on Charlie Boy's album, the Ninja Bike album. So he would always drive down to my dad's house where I had my studio with the bike, plenty bikers and police escorts. There was a particular day he now wanted to meet Charlie Boy. He came out of the house and like, I think I need to see this person. I learned, okay, I think I know you. You are Puta's son, Abi. Okay, finally I've met one responsible person. Can I hand this boy? At that time I was giving up. Can I hand over this boy to you so I can see somebody that I can see like, okay, somebody older that he can learn from. Should I shock you? Charlie Boy looked at him and said, Papa, see this one. If we finish all the song, if he say no good, no good. Now him gone, now him we need. He no need us. And he looked at his face like this. Like that was not enough. I was trying to do a rebrand. One international company had a deal with King Sunny Ade. So I was working on some of the tracks. So KSA was coming to my studio then. He saw KSA too. The same thing, he attacked KSA. KSA told him the same thing. That this boy, I need Oyeniyi. You don't know who you have in your house. Still didn't believe. Now, moving forward, things started changing. At that age, at 21, I bought my first car. And it was like, is it the same inside this cubicle that I got the money to buy this car? He was surprised, but we went on like that, on and on and on. At that time, he gave up and he wanted to be very close to me, but trust me, I didn't want to be his friend. I didn't want to be his friend for anything. He will want to get so close. I don't want to be his friend. He will leave the house and from the main building come to my studio and sit at the entrance. I made 2 entrances for myself, one for the client and one for me outside and all that. He will sit down at the reception. My dad will sit at the reception, and by the time it's done, by the time I'm done, I'll just pass to the other end, get into my car and drive off. And at that time, don't forget, I have grown to the point that I already rented my apartment. I was living alone. I was living outside. I wasn't living with him again. So there was a lot of transformation that happened around me. And what I want to bring out of this is not because I'm not trying to actually make anybody feel like not everybody that actually everybody come online on I've seen people come on live and say I slept in the church and yeah, I didn't sleep in the church. My father had everything. But most time you feel like when you have everything is okay. No, not okay. what you see is just for the people, for the world to see. But there's a lot going behind that you don't see. I never slept in the church, but I had a dream to pursue. And that dream was being aborted, was almost being aborted by my dad. And my own sisters too, because they didn't like it. You know, it's our young brother, it's our young brother, it's our young brother, and they want me to go to the bank. And I don't want to go to the bank. You know, I want to do music. Like, oh, they make it, but the music, boy, oh, they make it. You know, I had the time that I had a mortgage. One of my elder sister, yeah, she works with NMPC, PPMC. She's I think general accounting manager. I don't know, a general account manager or whatever they call them. You know, she came and she did the mortgage for me for my career. I said, you know what, come to I can employ you with NMPC, and I can promise you in less than 3 weeks, I'll get you an apartment in Asokoro that's a staff quarter, and I will staff you. As in a huge life like this for me to be able to drop music. But I don't know where that strength come from. You see, in everybody's mind, there's always a strength. Like my baby, when I cover, it's almost like this. You see him grasping for breath. He just like he wants that breath. You know, if I don't know how to explain it. If he doesn't want, if he leaves that breath alone, he probably will just die off. Like there's always a strength in every soul, every human that's a strength to take you to the next level. Most of the time, we are not just always we're not smart enough to actually know that we have the strength. We give up most times. So she gave me that idea, like, okay, come to work and I'll give you this. You get this job and you get a private car and begin to do this. I didn't give up. I went on. Now moving forward to music back, which is the reason why everybody can relate with me and know who I am today. I started on Timaya's project, the love I had for the jobs, and I brought him. I recorded this album. Like I said, I promised him that he should leave that studio, Daniel's studio and Basoj, and come work with me in my place. You know, there was no signing, there was nothing, because I had no idea of music business. I was just a lover of music that wanted to just explore. I just wanted to, because of the love of it. You know, so I kept on doing that. So along the line, I finished his album. He left. You know, when Timaya left, he took that album. Then I gave him just a listening one he could be listening to. He went to Port Harcourt. He sold it for a roadside marketer. When I was here in Lagos, busy every day in Alaba markets, entering into that dirty water of last word job. You know, moving forward, you know, he called me, I think, from the hospital bed. It wasn't the woman. I think his mom called me and they wanted to speak to me. Then I heard that he's sorry, is this and that. What happened? Talk to me. Guy, I'm here, I'm hustling. This album must come out. You have to do it. So I was just on that, you know. And I said, hey, sorry, sold the album, that he bought a power bike. He got it. If you see him, he has a Sky here. It was that power bike that gave him that Sky, you know. And he sold it. And like I said, are you sure? What is this? You know, lucky enough, when he called me, I was in the market that I got. And the marketer's name is Danko. That guy looked at me like, guy, let's go to Port Harcourt the next day. We went to Port Harcourt. We paid for the album. He sold the album for, I think, 550,000 naira. We bought that album back for 750,000 naira from that marketer. You know, for 6 million. I'm not mistaken. 6 million naira. That was my first ever million. That was beginning of my life of seeing myself like, oh, I'm a millionaire. You know, and it didn't end there. We moved forward to like, okay, he wanted to shoot a video. We're not shooting a video. They were shooting like a VCD video. You know, I got my friends involved. I got Aki Alabi, you know, shot. You know, it was just a process. It was just a long process. We're moving it on and on like that, you know. But it did that to me. I wasn't paying attention to it because I looked at it like, okay, me. I had the motive. I had no where I was going to. I was not about anybody. I was about where I want to get to in life. And you know, he did that to me. A lot of people called me like, this boy will do this thing to you, run away from him. I said, no. There's a love I have for him, and this love, I think it should overshadow what he has done. It was being, I gave different excuses for him, like, okay, because he wanted to grow, because he needed his album to drop, because he was tested too, he was eager, you know. But someone said, but the boy saw that album, it did not give you, it didn't give you a dime, and you were here still running. I'm like, oh, for you, that's the life of an artist. you know. So I'm like, why? You know, so I moved. We moved into the next album, you know, like that, you know. I opened social media pages for him. I was running it and all that. At that time, where I mean to see producers, I don't want to mention their names. That I feel ashamed for them those years. Like starting into his DM, bro, Alpha, I salute to Shaman. I'm like, eh? You guys are calling Timaya Shaman. Are you guys sick? See, people feel I have pride. I don't have pride. I've worked. I've suffered. So the person will work will chop. If you they steal from house, they take your mama papa money, you begin go outside, they pack lot for wire, you enter road, they pickpocket. One day you will become hard arm robber. You understand what I'm saying? Which means it's a process. Anything you keep doing consistently, you will become a pro in it. So I suffered. I went through a lot. I don't want to go into some, you know. So I went through that, and to push him out, and they were sending me a message, I have beat for you, I can produce you. That was not even I didn't bother about that, because even me myself, I was showing him the content. Yeah, see what's in the sense for you. You want beat from that person. Bro, I don't want, you know, like that. I'm that kind of person. And moving forward, in the course of all this, when someone that called me like, put a contract up with Timaya, I just felt like, I said, I don't think contract can work with me and him, because I feel once you give me a contract, we already have. I just feel like we will not flow again. That was my feeling those years. So I didn't give him a contract until one day again I saw some guys. They call them Black Body Entertainment. They wrote him a full episode. I still have it kept of letter. I sent it to him. I'm like, you're working with K Solo. You are living in Mara Garden. With the kind of brand, the music you are singing, where your song has gotten this big, you know, you're not supposed to be living in Mara Garden. You should be living in Lekki. You should be living in, I saw all that. I showed it to him. I said, guy, I don't want to hold your career. You understand? But the truth is this: I have a plan for you. Let's just take it the same way we've been taking it. Don't run further than chariot. I said, okay. I'll just go to my. Well, I don't see you know this room for studio. What's happen? Bro, I just make her relax. I just relax, Joe. I just, before I know what happen, I don't say, I go South Africa. Oh, what's up in South Africa? You know, tell me. And one of my fans, this fan where I know see, how you tell me this fan? How did they get your number? You know, all that I ask those questions, you know? Until one day, he came to the studio with a Range Rover Sport. And I looked at it like, okay, what did you guys say, fan? I blessed the car. I entered into this car. I drove around. I'm like, wow, this is nice, you know? Not knowing I already signed a deal with Black Body Entertainment, and they already shot a video. I was planning a new album at that moment. We already did that song. The song actually, that song we're supposed to start. The first song we were actually supposed to drop was called Plantain Boy. You know, Plantain Boy came out and they shot a video for it. When I saw the video, someone just said, I saw a video for Plantain Boy. I said, you're right. Song where I just dropped for radio. Like, I saw a video, say, and when I saw the video, it was my signature, everything. They wiped it, they cut it in a very terrible manner. I'm like, wow. But trust me, I wasn't bad. I didn't feel bad, you know, because like I said to you, I had a target. I'm that kind of guy that I don't feel you can camp me in a position. You can't tame me in you can't curtail me. I'm like a fig tree that it carries so many branches. You know, you can't hold me to just one person. You know, if one seed falls off, let that one germinate. If another falls, that's the kind of lifestyle I live and I believe in. You know, so another time, don't forget, I already discovered another guy called Clever J. Then I was already working on this project gradually. You know, and when I was doing Connie Connie Love, I brought him my come and feature on this Connie Connie Love. I left the studio for my engineers. Clever J will call me, bro. This guy, as you leave studio, now he said leave studio. You know, just one record. I said, wow. And don't forget, at that time, I was working on Faith's album, Kolo Mental album too. You know, at that time, a lot of people were saying that. Yes. I was on this Kolo Mental now.
Oh.
You know, I was working on that album then, and I remember a lot of people were giving a lot of controversy for Faith then, that he was supposed to sign a deal with Akon. That it was lies. It was like it wasn't lie. Several nice sections. Akon called him on the phone. I've spoken to him severally. You know, that year. You know, so I was working on his album, you know, and at that time I was working on Timaya too by the side, you know. So
You are still working with Timaya after everything it did for you.
I was still working in it, you know. So I had Clever J by the side that was pushing, you know. I was trying to work on, you know. I'm not a dreamer. I had a dream that time, like when Timaya did that stuff to me, and in that dream, I saw myself taking up the microphone for him and giving the microphone to Clever J, and I told Clever J like, Clever J is a gentle guy, he doesn't speak, you know, and like that, I started pushing Connie Connie Love, you know, and Connie Connie Love became big, like that. We're getting shows from different. I think the last one. I think the one I could remember was one for one telecommunication company. I don't want to mention their names. Not give them hype. You know, you know, they always keep the best for the last. Timaya performed in Ilorin. Clever J was one that was closing the show in Ilorin, and then Timaya was big. You know, and when I said to a lot of people then that I wasn't making money, people were like, when I was doing Timaya, I wasn't making money. They were like, how do you mean? I wasn't making money. I started making money when I started working with Clever J. Timaya's job was actually what attracted a lot of people, a lot of job to me, which I started doing. And moving back to what I was saying, when Blackbody picked Timaya and they went to shoot the video and did that and stuff, Timaya already had another deal with somebody behind me. He was trying to, I don't know. You see, the hunger and thirst for greatness, when people are actually hunger and tasting for greatness, it should be easy. Take it easy. Don't find yourself into what is going to destroy you. Blackbody was already upset with him. They want to take him to court because he knew they took him to Europe for an Europe tour and they were collecting all the money from him. He was upset. He ran away from the tour to Nigeria. They declared him wanted. They wanted to put him up to. They were trying to put him in jail. They called me. That was the first time I got a call from Blackbody. I'm like, bro, we are sorry for what happened, this and that. We're not supposed to come meet in this way and that. And we want to do this for Timaya. We need your backing. I said, what? I said, see me. Whenever the wrong he has done to me, I will never stand and say I am representing you. I want to speak on your behalf against him. I said, no. Timaya got into the top. A lot of people say Kesolo did it. Fine, that's your own orientation, but God did it. He just used me to make him, you know. So he did that, and I believed, you know, and I told them I was not part of it. When it's time for God to actually drop him, he will drop him by himself. I'm not the one who's going to bring Timaya down. So I moved forward. So they had a lot of fights. They collected back the range from him. He was paying instrumentally. It was on serious problem then. Don't forget, my boy was already flourishing. Clever J was growing by the way and started moving too and rolling, you know, was making it. Moving forward again, about this, after Clever J's first album, almost towards the time of dropping the second album, the person that made me know Clever J, you know, he got up one day too. He went to Clever J's head and said Clever J that, you know what, you don't need Kesolo again. You know, Kesolo have done this already. You don't need him again. You can do it by yourself. I'm like, I don't know about that. I didn't hear that. How did I know this? A marketer, I was supposed to market the second album, called me and said, Kesolo, you know, you're a good person, and that's why I want to tell you this. These guys called me. They said they wanted me to pay you up for the production. I said, wow. I said, how? He said, they wanted me to pay you up. They wanted me to deal with them directly. I said, wow. I called my boys in the studio. Write me all the data for Clever J, the old one and the new one. I'm having a meeting with somebody. So I said he has fooled them that they should come to the studio, that you want to pay me off so that they can continue the business. But it's just telling me what the content of it was. But he's not going to work with them again. Since they are going to be a greedy person and all that, I said, okay. Don't forget, Kesolo is the stupid guy that will never sign a contract. You know, and was doing all this based on goodwill.
I like him.
You know, I was doing all that. So he came that day and he looked after their face and said, you guys are you are bad persons. I'm not working with you guys again. I just came to tell you guys I'm not working again. Before he said, he said, Kesolo, please. No, when he came in, before he even said anything, I said, what is that? I give these people, I'm not working again. And they were happy. They were like, And he told them, straight, I'm not collecting your job again, and I'll make sure in Alaba your song will not get to any marketer. You know, they started begging. They started feeling remorse and all that. So it was that day that bettered the first time in my life of beginning to prepare contracts. The market, I won't forget his name, Jomiki. Jomiki picked up a contract for me by himself. And he said, you know what, Clever J, this contract was supposed to be between you and K Solo. But this other guy, do you want to attach him into it? He said, yes. I said, no problem. I said, Clever J, let me tell you the understanding of business if you don't understand. If it was supposed to be 100%, we're supposed to go 50-50, which I agreed to do for you. But if you are going to bring in this third person, it's not going to be 50-50. You know, it's going to be 100 divided by 3. How do you know that? Okay. He said, fine. He said, no problem. Instantly on that point, Jomiki signed the check and gave me that check that day. And I put him and the other guy in my car, took them to the bank, we drew the money and gave them their share instantly. I wasn't lying to you. And on that day, the money I collected from me, do you know what I used it for? I used it to customize my car plate number. That's what I used the money for. That was the beginning of contract in my life. You know? Then he came back again with his mom apologizing and begging, like, okay, let's see how we can work this out. I'm like, okay, fine. I do not hate you. I can understand that you do not have a mind of your own and you're just starting. That's the reason why that guy was playing, you know, when they call this emotional blackmail. You know, the case that made you meet him. If not for that, your career wouldn't even be existing. So he felt it was paying allegiance to him because of what he did to him. You know, several now called me, say, bro, please, how would you help me? They have called me for several shows. They have paid this guy money, and he told me that they stole money from his car. How can they be saying 500,000 from your car, 750,000 naira from your car? And I said, 550,000 naira for your own show, and he did not give it to you. He said, and they stole it from his car. Several things has happened. I'm like, guy, can I help you? I'm sorry, I can help you. You know, moving forward.
It's solo, man.
Moving forward, you see, I'm laughing. This that stuff that actually broke me. You know, I'm laughing about it because I've got a particular item in my life that I understand that, you know, these are human beings and they are. You should always plan yourself why you work with human, because human would always be human. It messed me up. Did all that at that point. Now don't forget, I was working on the Face album then. Phase 2 was a terrible human being. I've forgiven him his parts, you know. But he didn't do me a lot of bad. He did more bad to Cobams than me. You know, a blind boy come from his upstairs in house in the solo, then will go downstairs and go on generator, you know, and it was his money, you know. Phase does a lot of things to me that I didn't like then, you know. You go for show, come back, and come at his own time. And like, he needs to work today. I'm like, guy, he can't work that way. And when he come from that issue, like, he'll bring you guys 100 naira note or 50 naira note that they have packed plenty money and carry and give to you, bam. Like, guy, I don't want this money. I know they work. Moving forward, he got upset one particular time. He was crying and I want to destroy his career. Sure, I know he has a problem with the Plantation Boys. I was this and that. And knelt down, went to meet my dad. You know, we're crying. You know, I've learned in time. You see, those things this guy did to me actually made me a bitter person. But I outgrew it. Somebody said, why is everybody faulting kids? They're not faulting me. It's just human, the human in them, the greed that live in them, in human, that's actually manifesting. You know, so I was still upset at that time because I had the pain of Tima in me. So I just copied his job and gave to him. So it's the reason why only people of the industry that know that I worked on this project, like Kobam Sanre, that knew that I did that project with him. Kobam did Tattoo Girl, Poco Dico Spill Tracks, and I did, you know, Clement and Rest too, you know. So that's how I worked, and I just canceled. And I told him, if you put my name on your album, there will be war. You know, so we had that fight then, you know. We resolved it along the line, but you know, it's been a long time coming. It's been a serious issue in the industry where we belong to. People are a terrible set of persons, you know. So, and like I was saying, okay, I remember I told the Black Bodies, they were telling me then that Timaya this, and I said, when I first released Timaya's album, I mean single, I took it to Beat FM then. It was all this. I just told me point blank, say, you see this guy, be standard of song we play for our radio. Just take the song. They can't play it. I'm like, okay, no other. Thank God for just one single person called Bombastic. DJ Bombastic was the only one that single-handedly played Timaya in Nigeria, not Lagos, Nigeria, that broke that song. And he played it back to back. It was the national anthem of Star FM.
Star FM.
It became big. Now, if I now want to have us on interviews, I turn them down. Trust me. Let me tell you, you call me for an interview like this. Please, can we have Timaya? Once I hear I'm for so FM. Once I hear the name, I just call Popo. I did all that. So if you see when Timaya grew, they were calling him, it was arrogant, it was that. No, we were beating black and blue. It was a funny feeling between me and Face at that time when we did it. So that was the part. But I want to deviate a little. One major stuff that happened to me in the industry that I wouldn't say broke me was this part that I had a bad press. And that happened with when I got married then. And I was, like I said, I know I was young, and I was just doing my thing. And along the line, where do I start from? I got married. The marriage I actually got into. I'm not saying this. I don't want to say this because I want to make it very clear. But I just want one or two people to learn from this. I've grown to understand to tell people that I'm sorry to say this, but I'm part of people that always say that if you don't marry, it's not a crime. It's not. If you don't marry, it's not a crime. There's some set of humans that, if you actually read the Bible very well, it was never written that they got married. So don't see it as a crime that you must compulsorily get married. If you don't get married, you are dead. I was born into this marriage by my family. My family actually walked me into it. Don't forget that. But I want to tell you that I lost my dad. And at that period when he was trying to build up the friendship back with me. And he was always coming to me like, okay, let's talk. I was always ignoring because I felt like he did not love what I wanted to do. And I won't lie to you, I read so many books when I was still younger. But now I have a better definition of books. And let me tell you, the part of the definition I got about book is the fact that everybody who writes a book writes that book based on what he or she was feeling at that moment. And don't think that what that person was feeling at that moment is actually equivalent to what you are actually feeling. There might be a lot of difference in it. The same way we go to school to study biz admin, and it's not what we study in school that we are practicing. It's a different ball game in the real business field. So I read a lot of books at that time. So I felt part of what I read in the book then was like, when you see somebody who is trying to hold your career, run away from those kind of people, people who actually would discourage you running away from this. So I did that often, So before I lost my dad. So moving back to the marriage, the marriage was staged. When I mean staged, it was staged because I was not part of the marriage. And as a young person doing very well in the industry, that kind of stuff, we are prone to see so many ladies come around every time. So this particular lady was always coming. Actually tried then it was BlackBerry just came out. I was using a bold one, and if I say bold one, you should know how old that marriage was then, Then everybody will add you up. You see somebody had you up, and I was always, like I told you, I'm always a busy person, and when I want to start working, I don't even check my phone. I drop it behind and all that. So on that particular day, this my friend was with me, and what's his name? Omobaba. Omobaba is a very good friend. We grew together, the comedian, So it was with me in the studio that day, and we saw this somebody came into my phone, and like I saw it like, I've been calling you, you're not picking, or I've been messaging you, you're not replying. Why did you accept my request when you were not going to reply? Wrote a lot. I am this, I love this, I am, I work so they wrote so many stuff out. And I showed them about that time, like, at that time there was scam. People will use your picture and put your name, and it's not you. You know, I said this thing looks like scam. We said let's save it. So we screenshot it that year with the screenshots and all that. Funny enough, finally this person sent a number and we got speaking. And like, what did you get? How did you get my pin? That was the first question. How did you get my pin? He said, later she confessed that it was her brother. One of her brother got my pin. It's my fan and all that. I said, oh, okay, no problem. So what exactly do you want? I just want to be a friend. Now the friendship started. My one mind, that's you know, and in the course of this friendship, we're like, okay, let's see where this is gonna lead to. I had no idea of what I was up to or what I was gonna do. I was into, but I went on with this friendship. See, musicians, we need to be very, very careful. Not just the guys alone, even the women. But for the guys, I want to talk to you now. You know, we need to be very, very careful. And you know, she came in off, you know, the friend. She said she was French. She does this, she does that, and we didn't believe all this. Those things you're saying were too fake, as in were too real for, as in to me to believe. So I was always introducing. I was bringing friends into. I brought I won't forget. I brought Ice K, one of the Earthquake too.
Of course.
I brought them into it. You know, I brought many people. You know, these people were around me. You know, and like it's just the watch. Moving forward, now don't let me forget. Okay, why are you doing your face like that? She was always coming. She was always coming to my. Okay, she didn't know my studio then. There was a particular time I remember that I had an interview. I won't forget. I had an interview with Oyeniyi, and I was supposed to go to the interview. And on my way driving, I was just like, "I'm coming to your place. How did you know my place?" I just want to locate it. I'll locate it like that because she has always been saying, "I want to come to your studio," and I don't take visitors. I won't lie to you. I don't accept visitors in my studio. If you are coming to the studio, you're actually coming to work, or you're not going. You're not doing anything. So I don't do anything that has to do with that. You know, so I was pushing her away. So on that particular day, she joined me to Oyeniyi. That was the first day ever we met.
Did you see me in Oyeniyi? Did you see me in Oyeniyi?
I saw you. Yes.
You were telling me.
So that was the first time we met. And when we met, and okay, after that day, she joined me back from Oyeniyi to my studio. And she stayed till late. I'm like, go your house now. Moving forward, she started being nice. You know, and as a guy, you will not see somebody who's actually acting nice and act like you are not saying this. But funny enough, I had a girlfriend. A very, very, very tight girlfriend. I had a very good I had a girlfriend that was very close. I wasn't up with dating, I wasn't doing anything. So my girlfriend would always ask me, who is this girl? And I tell her, bye bye Mushi. This is how I met her.
Just a friend.
We are friends, you know, and she's a fan. And moreover, don't forget, there are so many other friends that come, like some will come act I want to come and see my boy, but it's me they won't just come see. I just understand. So I just say love them and just say, oh hi, how you doing? And we just chat and I walk away. But she became more that she became a problem between me and my girlfriend, you know. Now, where the family king came in, my family didn't like my girlfriend. Why didn't they like her? They felt like I was making a lot of money and all she does is buy gold, buy this, buy that, buy that. And she wasn't planning for you. You're supposed to be saving money. I said, do you know my account? Do you know what I have or what I don't have? So if I'm taking care of, okay, I'm not asking them, like, was my dad not taking care of my mom? Okay, I heard the story. My dad was one that brought my mom to Lagos. Well, I just married her and keep her in the village there now. You know, he brought her to Lagos. So what's the point of me taking care of my wife, you know, or my girlfriend? So I was taking care of her, you know. We begin to have problems too. A lot of issues started. I didn't understand what was happening, you know. I was still, you know, in Yoruba they say "Dear Omokunrin Oto." I didn't know what that meant then, but as a now it's a different word.
Say it again.
Dear Omokunrin Oto. You understand? I didn't understand what I meant there, but I know what it meant. Let me give you a scenario of it. What makes you a man is not your third leg. You understand? There's so much more that makes you that makes you, you understand, a man. So I got into that point then. I didn't know what was happening. To end up the matter, and don't forget the girlfriend I had, we had a plan, we had a mindset, you know. She wasn't pregnant. We were fine. We wanted to build an empire. She was just supportive of me. See this tattoo on my hand? Eh? This tattoo you are seeing on my hand there is a tattoo on my hand here. She has the same tattoo with my name crested on her name, on her palm. You get that, my girlfriend, you know? And you know, someone that actually believed in my dream. She was the part of the person that would go and also bamidigi nail, you know, middle of the night. She was part of the build of me, you know. So it was a mental problem for me, you know, that they didn't like her. So because of all she did for me, I felt when I was doing fine, she deserved everything I was doing for her. So, but they didn't like her. They were feeling that she's always feeling too proud, and like, you know, is my girlfriend. Moving forward, one thing led to the other. Don't forget, this lady is always wanting, and at that point, I started having issues with her. She would come and, can somebody be a friend? I don't want the problem with you in your relationship, this and that. She was always, you know, only for me to sleep in the night and wake up in the morning and I look at my door and I see somebody parked outside my house. And I looked at her. What are you doing here? And you know, she has even been here since 4 a.m. because I'm upset with her. Eh? What's happening here? Is this love? I believe, you know, after the fact that she was being nice, I realized that wasn't love anymore. This was something else. I'm like, she went on and on. Why? While my family didn't like that one, my girlfriend, this one was going behind, was already trying to meet one of my sisters somewhere, trying to get number from my boys to do this. You know, at the particular time, I fired all my boys that are working with me. One day, I was in the studio. I was just like facing the camera like I was facing the computer, and I saw a flash behind me. When I looked at it, and I saw it was my boy that was taking my picture behind. I'm like, come here, bring that phone. And I saw it. This was the same girl that was already chatting me up, and I told her that I'm not around. You can't see me. You know, get what I'm saying? She already bought a phone behind for my boy, one of my boy. One mole. She had a mole in the studio. She bought a phone for that. That one took a picture and sent. Wanted to send to him. That I collected that phone and broke that phone. Like, are you okay? How can you come and take a picture of me? You know? One thing, she will come like that severally, without bras and pants, severally. Somebody talk about popcorn. I have popcorn here. You know. So she will always come like that all the time. I wouldn't lie to you. We had sex severally. Moving forward. You know, those kind of knocks. It happens like when you're doing like, why am I doing this? And you're not good. You're not fine with yourself. Like, this is not right. You know, severally I've even spoken to my girl about this. Like, I don't think this happened between me and this girl. Like, you see what I'm telling you? Once this happens like this, this is a problem. You know. She went behind, got my sister's number, got my mom's number, and that was where the problem started from majorly. She started the blackmail. I'm pregnant. If you guys don't want me to go to point newspaper. My mom started featuring like, no, my I'm like, what? You are too stubborn, you are this and that. She been at me get name. Not be you get the name. My mom, they were so upset, like, why are you doing this? You know, don't let it spoil your name. I'm all over the one you've had before. It's just to collect from you. You know, this one is pregnant. You know, like, no. You know, don't forget, when I started this interview, I said I'm the only boy. I had 6 sisters. Now, because of my problem, my sisters factioned into 2. Some are factions that followed my mom's level. Some are the faction that actually wanted what I wanted. Like, this is what he wants. We support him. What he wants is what he wants. So there was war in the family. You know, she was doing all the threats and all that. Moving forward again, to end this, they fixed a wedding date behind me.
Sorry.
sound awkward, Abby. They fixed the wedding day behind me, and I was almost running mad. I can remember on that particular day, as a young man, I drove from Ogba to Aja. I was just driving. I switched off my phone. I found out that I drove to Aja, you know, and I began to feel like I had no father, you know. And one thing I forgot to say is this: as a young boy, my dad never introduced me to his family. I don't know the reason why. Until when he died, my father's family knew that, oh, my dad, he has a boy. And like, wow, so he had the boy. I don't know how he just kept me out of the picture. They never knew he had the boy, you know. So I was driving all that way to Aja. I stopped on the way when I was able to get my sense. I was just in thinking. I was just driving straight down. I knew I busted on 7 Up, and my journey started like that, straight. There was no left, there was no right. I just went on and on. I stopped in one church. I don't know I can't remember the name of the church. They were doing an open air crusade. I just parked in there, and I just joined in prayer. I didn't know where I was. You know, I was just praying. You know, so at the middle of the prayer time, I knew I was tired again. I was exhausted. I went into my car, and I put on this and I slept off. When I opened my eyes, it was around past 9. What woke me up was even a noise of a truck. It was a truck that was coming to park the canopies they use for the what they call it, for the church crusade in Nigeria there. That woke me up. And like, then I knew that, okay, time is gone. So I had to just stand up that day and like, you know, and don't forget, it was a Friday night and the wedding was supposed to be on Saturday. You know, so I got something to eat. I just sat down in the car there. I was just on my own. So around 11, 12, you know, I just put on my phone, you know, and when I put on my phone, I found out that I got a call from the person that happened to be that my father. Okay, there's a lady here that she's saying Kesolu, Lainka. She knows a little of that story too, you know. And I put on my phone. The first call that came into my phone was like the godfather of my dad's, the church my dad goes to, that we grew up in. You know, that happens to be like a godfather for the family. You know, he called and the word he said like, Solomon, you are the only heir for your father. Don't let your father's name spoil. Don't let it go down the drain because of this. We can talk this out later, but please come to this wedding. We are all at the wedding location waiting for you. There's already a problem. There's already a chaos going on. It's a serious matter I'm thinking about. You know, it says so many deep words to me, and I'm like, and at that point, I just look at myself like, I think maybe this is just what God wants for me. Maybe this is how God wants me to end up my life. Just maybe this is how He wants me to just be. This is how He wants me to marry or just start a family. But I said, but this is not what I want for myself. Every time in my life I've wanted something for myself, I've always hustled and worked for it, and God has always answered me the way I wanted it. Maybe this is what we want. And I gave up and I started driving back from Aja to the wedding zone. I didn't baffle. And on that wedding day, they already sold clothes for me. I just bought clothes and finished wedding on that day. I had an oddly, you understand, that the commissioner of police gave me then, you know. The policemen were already looking for me. They were looking for me because I just drove. I didn't let anybody know. You know. So when I got there at the wedding, I just wore the clothes, and in fact, they made so many big preparations already, you know. My friend Umawaba stood up like, guy, I'm going to stand here. He stood there as the MC. He brought Lepasho's boss. The two of them were the MC on that wedding day. It's so bad, you know. You know, so after the wedding was where the problem started. Another problem started. I still felt like, okay, after the wedding, at least just the wedding you want, Abby. Now the wedding is done. Let me go back to my life, fix my job. But I wasn't mentally stable, so I was just trying to, you know. I rented an apartment where I forgot to say at that time I already had my own house. I bought myself, you know. That was where I had my studio, you know. So, but I already moved. I got another apartment where I wanted the wedding, you know, where we should stay. This is where we live, you know, because I didn't want it to be the wedding, the marriage to be around my work environment and all that. So When I'm in the studio, I will get calls. Where are you now? At least you know you are wedded. A married woman, man, is not supposed to know when to come home back home. I'm like, God, is this what I've signed for? You know, at that time, the only person I speak to that is my companion is my girlfriend. She was still there. Don't forget, I said she has this tattoo carrying my name, you know, on her. You know, don't forget. So there was so much bonds that we had together, you know. So she was the one I always call. I'm like, sorry, that's what you find yourself and all that. So did she attend the wedding? She didn't attend the wedding. Why
Stop
would
here,
she? Would
sit
you
down,
attend that
sit
wedding?
down. How
Anybody?
can she attend the wedding?
There was always a fight all the time. Then at a particular time, I was not always going home. I was always living in the studio house. I was always there. It was just a terrible life, you know. And at that time, I was working on Kefi's job too, you know. Kefi, the late Kefi, you know, I was working on it. Then she had a problem with her husband, then Alec Music or so, you know. So I was getting threats from my own from Alex Music, Alex family. Then that we're not doing anything with this guy. You choose to pick her to do this, to do that. I was like, me, I don't know your family. I don't know your problems. Mine is I just want to work with her. She's a talent that I don't want the talent to die, you know. And then she was really going through a lot of trauma then. So she was so close to me. And at that time, she was not beginning to. She started trying to fix up problems like if I was having something going on with Kefi then, which nothing was actually going on, you know. And because that time was close to when Kefi wanted to remarry, you know. Teddy was around the corner. Teddy, you know, was around the corner and I wanted to marry, you know. So you know what's going on in my life at that moment, you know. And before you know what was happening, I just took my I had a long talk with somebody that I want to mention his name. His name is Said Oshukwa. You know, he just met me at that time and he saw me like, guy, you having a problem? I said yes, and I narrated all my problem, all the issues with him, and it gave me some bad, honest truth that I needed to hear from a man. I had no man around me. Don't forget, I had women. You know, he gave me some honest truth and like, guy, if you're gonna die, you better die. But you know what? You need to face this. What you don't want, you don't want. Let it go anywhere in the world. You don't want it. Then I stood my ground on that particular day. Before that day, I was going home on one particular day, and my sister called me like, Kesolo, when you are going home, buy food and buy for your home, buy for your wife. Just buy food. Don't eat at home. I said, what happened? I said, just don't buy food. Just buy food. I'm like, okay. I bought food and I go home and she has cooked and why do you buy food? And I just felt like buying food for us to eat, you know. So I bought the food. It was the next day. My sister called me like, the wife that I so-called I had then called my niece. That's the first grandchild, you know. Called and like, hello, mommy, can you tell me can be son your come here motivisi? She a not to can see. You know, there's something I did for my family. There's a particular app. Is a record app. I pay for it in dollars. You know, you can add numbers of your family members. You know, like say I think 8. No, like 8 altogether. You know, including you making 8. So that my niece number was part of the numbers that I added to it. You know, so the conversation with them was recorded. It automatically records every conversation. So I opened an email for all the numbers. So once you're done with the call, it doesn't save on your number on your phone. It saves into the email. So you can go for every call log. You can get the conversation on every of the numbers. So it was on that number. So when she discovered, I said, Auntie Sarah, you know, and she hung up. So that one called my sister, and my sister felt, what's it putting inside your food? Guy, don't eat that food tonight, and don't even eat 2-3 days from now. Just make sure that you buy fast foods and you eat. You know, I was wondering what kind of life I might find myself. At that time, these families that were actually backing up, their eyes started getting open. They started saying that if we are listening to this guy, we won't find ourselves in this mess. I'm telling my story of my life for a lot of people to learn from it. I'm not saying it because I want to blackmail anybody or I want to make anybody feel bad or feel sad or feel sorry for me. But I want everybody to learn from this. And moving forward, I there's a particular fight that happened one day, and I picked my car key to leave the house. Like it was being a noise, you know. The where I got my house, I live is a house that the apartment I rented belongs to Sunday Olise. That's the former Super Eagles captain. It was the owner of the house, the one I rented the house from, you know. So it has been an habitual thing, always hearing noise all the time in that building, you know. So on that night, I wanted to leave. She stood on the door. Guy, you're not going to go anywhere. You're a weak man. Every time there's always a problem in your house, you will pick up your key. You will never sit down to solve it. I'm like, what do I want to solve with you? Naturally, I'm not a noise person. You know, I like these decisions. I don't, you know, on that day she stood there. Bam. Before I know what was happening, waiting for me to say, okay, to drag my door, to open my door, bam, to pass like that. She stood at the door. Before I know what was happening, all I know that I was on the ground. What I remembered was somebody held me on my groins. And I know that I was shouting. So the little strength I had to get up, I'm like, has it got to this point that you need to kill me or what's actually happening? You know, I took my key and I left the house. Instantly I got to the studio house. I called my boy. I told my boy, so yeah, go to my house now. Go into my room. Anything you can pick out of my house, just pick my stuffs that you can pick. And this. And as I left the house and I was sleeping in the studio throughout the week, there was no call. We didn't speak to each other. I left, you know. And in the process of it, don't forget she said she was pregnant. That was where the blackmail started from. You there was no pregnancy. There was no pregnancy. All the time I've said, let's go and do tests for the pregnancy, it has always been a problem. She will never agree. She said, I've done pregnant tests now. It's not the family doctor we use in our places and that. You want to go and meet somebody that will tell you that it's not pregnancy. And she tells me, and she started building me in a sense of understanding that life, she started building me in a spiritual part of life. And I'm like, the spiritual part I know about life is the Bible and God. She started preaching all this fallacy about understand, like they don't want you to have me to have the pregnancy. She has the pregnancy. That if I go and do the scan somewhere else, it might not show. This and I'm like, what's happening here now? I love about me, Goro, yet you help me, go. Somebody should help me come into my matter and even help me. I know something's wrong somewhere. But you know, I couldn't fix this thing. You know, she went ahead and presented her own scan that this is it. You know, after wedding was like when I knew there was no pregnancy. On that day, she formed that lie. She said she drove, she was coming, she was having pain, and when she went to the toilet, she saw one thick blood come out. This and that. I said, hey, why didn't this thick blood come out before this wedding? Why is it out now? When I'm needed. You know, I couldn't cry. You know, I couldn't go through. Somebody saying this Nollywood movie. Yes, it was actually like a Nollywood. I'm telling you this. I've been speaking to somebody. I want to put this into the story. I need to put it out as a story for people to actually know. This is actually real life. So it's not. And I have evidences to these things. I have evidences to it. You know, to that screenshot of that time when we first met. I have it in papers. These are part of what I used. I tendered as what I presented to the magistrate when I was putting up for divorce. Let me not get to that point yet. Let me still keep moving. You know, so I left the house. You know, and when I left the house, we're not together anymore. I had a manager that was managing me. Her name is Fumi Mensah. She's a manager to Fetia Balogun. She's a manager to Queen Ayo Balogun, the Juju musician. She was not managing me, you know. So she was my manager then. So she became like this to me because of my wife. Work was not working. It was not going with any female became a problem, you know. Like you always say in Yoruba, person maybe say with the carry cutlass they cut person head. You know they like to see the shadow of knife, you know. She was always having issues with the manager. So at the time I left, then I called my manager. At this point, I think I have left, and this is leaving for good. Let's go back to drawing board. Let's fix my life. I was working on an album now. this album stopped now. This album is like a legendary album I was working on that had Timaya, he had Flavor, he had Lord of Ajasa, he had W4, then he had Sound Sultan, he had Kel, your girl Kel, he had, you know, it was a star-studded album. I said, everything just paused because of this. What's happening now? Let's get back to work. And she got back and we started work back. You know, in the course of working, one thing just happened. One of the days we were just working in the studio. Somebody just called me. Hello? So you don't see news. You don't see paper. I said, what happened to paper? I saw your story on City People. City People wrote a story and like said that the wife you married in less than 3 months or so, that you beat her. You did this, and like, wow. I said, are you joking? Then the internet was just picking up now. It was just Facebook much. And Twitter, legbegbe. Twitter was just legbegbe. There was no Instagram, you know? There was no Instagram then. I didn't see it. I said, okay, it was already late. Okay, I'll check for the papers the next day. Or I said I wasn't going to check for the paper. I was going to call City People. Then I know Afolabi, you know, is my friend. And I'm like, how can kind of story fly on the paper where these people actually know me, like know me very well, like even to share Indy, like why would you put this kind of story up without even consulting me or speaking to me? You know, throughout the night, as at when it was evening, asked me why I saw the story. I had not seen the story. I just saw the story, bam, on Linda. And Linda was the hot cake there now. When that was your story, you are finished. Linda just bam, and he wrote it called from City People. Everything word for word, note for note. I suspected that time like Linda could not type all these things. I'm sure she actually got the typo from somebody in City People that gave her everything, because you know it was the same way it was on the paper. She posted it on her page. This was the beginning of the downfall of Kesolo in the industry. At that moment, clients started pushing away. At that moment, people you felt were friends started disappearing. See, it was a bad time in my life that, you see, I always tell some people that if I want to curse you, if you want to curse somebody, I will curse you like, see, you see what happened to me with that woman, God should let it happen to you. If I curse you that kind of curse, run and start praying, because you know what, that can end your life. You might not get up ever in your life. What happened to me? A lot of people come to me, I'm like, guy, how did you survive this? This started at that time. I don't forget at that time they had so many dirty NGOs that were actually, they were not called feminists then, but now we call them feminists. Dirty NGOs that come up and say they are fighting for women's rights. They come up. And I told them, you guys need to get out for me. We need to talk. At that time, I didn't see her again. She already moved out from the house I got, you know, moved all my equipment, all the appliances, everything. She had moved, she had left to where I know nothing about. And she was firing the arrow for me from the dark. She was releasing stories. And trust my bad people now, our journalists there. You guys were terrible people there. They were always, you know.
We guys, I never did it.
You are not. Sorry, you're not. Sorry. I hope, you know, you are doing your job, so that's why I'm throwing that shot at you. They were coming up like then. Punch. You see, at that time, Linda was selling stories. Once she goes on her Twitter line, she just writes, idiot. The police just arrested him. They just called him now. Bam! Linda has put it up. The question is this. Did all this happen? What are references to all this? They kept on putting on stories. Now, she went. It looks like she had a man. Oh, Pastor Kinsley is watching, you know.
Yes, and he's been saying my sins. Yes.
Yeah, you know. I want him to listen to this too. You know, there was a time that, you know, when I think she had a boyfriend or a man friend that happens to be a senior mobile police in the Lagos State Police then command. The guy issued for my arrest. You know, when he issued for my arrest, he didn't know. Okay, he issued for my arrest. Then the men that he sent to come and arrest me are men that friends to my own. I had an oddly, don't forget, you know, that works with me. So they're friends of them. So they've always been saying that, okay, Solo, you need to buy us drink. You need to do this for us. You need to do this for us. I'm like, okay, no problem. On that day, they called me like, Baba, would they come your estate to, you go do shy for us? They didn't know that who they want to come and arrest was me. It was my name, Solomon Oyeniyi, that was on the petition. They don't know my full name. They only know Kesolo. So they were in my place just enjoying, just drinking and all that. And later, they just like, I just said, shit, won't you guys go and pick who you want to go and pick? Me when they go, make me, you know. Fortunately, one of them knows the story. I've been hinting one of them that knows my orderly directly. The name of my orderly is Tiger. I call him Tiger. You know, it's been one that's been hinting now. They know the story. So they now go into the car and bought the petition. And I saw it, my name. And I look at the guy and say, guy, now me be this now. He said, how? Make us a petition. He gave me the petition. What was the petition? Petition, he wrote my name. It's not that she didn't write the petition that her husband said, so person Solomon Oyeniyi came to her house and stole a trinket of gold worth 2 million naira and some few cash, something like that. That was on the petition. And I said, it's me. Immediately I picked up my phone. I called my lawyer. I said, you see, God does his things in a marvelous way, especially when you actually believe in him. My life story from the beginning, I've been telling you since, from the first part 1 to now. I'm sure you can realize that there's nobody that can take a glory for who I am today. Only God. Nobody can say, I trained him. He tutored me. He did this. It was, my journey has been God. My family do not know my journey. Now, I called my lawyer. I drove in my car. The police drove in their own car. We went to the police station. Immediately we got there. When I got this from the you know, the Lagos command where they have the commissioner of police. As I entered, they've been greeting me. Now this one where you come today, you know. They took me to one man. I won't forget his name. His name is Okeke. Okeke was the head of SARS, Lagos State then. Okeke just saw me like, okay, so now fine. This one we can't greet us today. And he saw the men come like, where the person? I say, Ogami, Kesulu. Say, Kesulu, are you all right? You there? Okay, say, Kesulu, I bet see that they come. In fact, when he was going, left his pistol. I can't forget that scene. He left his pistol on his desk there and left me in his office. And a few minutes after, I didn't see Okeke. It was another officer that I know not from. Just came out. And he said, Kesulu, Abeme will see. You need to write statement. Statement, okay. I know, so when you write statement, you want to detain the person now. No worry, my lawyer is already around, you know. So my lawyer went with me, so wrote statement, and he got my bail, you know. And he said, I need to come the next day, this and that. So on the next day, they already pushed the case out from Okeke because they knew Okeke actually had a bond with me, which is the boss for SARS, Lagos State SARS. They pushed him and brought another new person on this case. I'm like, what do you guys actually want? What do you want? Can I know what you actually want to achieve from this? At that time, I'm like, show me the petition. They didn't want to show me. They didn't know I've seen it already. So I said, I have seen the petition. I said, petition me for what? I said, please, I have a car outside there. Then at that time, I just bought a new Toyota Camry. That's a Mozu Camry. One, and I think 0608 in between that. I said, if you put this, I said that my Camry, put it for sale, at least you will sell it for like 7 million or 5 million. I said, you guys should just sell it, take the money and go. She said that to Chinko, what this amount of money? See this one, say, Solomon, I didn't know all of this. So you guys don't know a lot. I've never, you see what I'm saying to you there? I've never told anybody, only people close, like my family that knows. I've never told anybody this before, ever, that I'm letting you know. I've never said it anywhere in my life. You know? So I told them to sell the car. Take the car, just sell it. Or just give me my belongings from the car. You guys, let me put a letter of authorization as in let me just do change of ownership. You guys sell the car. Let me just be done with this. You get what I'm saying? Like this is just the allegation leveled against me. Let me go. So the police officer in charge does look at it like, this guy is mad though. You know, like this guy just wants to just be done and just go. Like, don't worry, just go. Go with this car. It won't take me, at least the family cars. I can pick anyone, you know. Just go. You know? And in the course of this, you know that was not enough. He came every moment you go to the station and write something like, she saw some people pursuing her, that I belong to some part of some cult, that they were going to attack her, this and that, you know, that we're going to attack her, you know. And I like, okay, if they're going to attack you, what have that got to do with me? You know, she was saying that, and I'm like, okay. Kept saying all that to them, you know. Every time the police would call me, this and that. Don't forget, I had an album that I wanted to release, you know. Because during that moment, then my manager took a serious war with my lawyer against city people. They kept on apologizing. They wrote, you know, don't forget, I'm fighting two people now. I'm fighting what has been said to the public, and I'm fighting the real problem itself. Do you get what I'm saying? Two problems I'm fighting. How to confuse the masses, the audience, the fans, that this is not true, you know, and all the stories written, you know. They bought the story for so long before people begin to realize that, how can you say, he said he carried the washing machine and hit it on your head. I'm like, oh, is he an awkward? So many things were just coming in, to people were just writing so many stuff later on, but I've gone so far. I've been battered. Like I said, don't forget, there was no friend again. There was no. At that time, my mom was not even in Nigeria. Don't forget, my mom was, my dad is late. Don't forget, my mom was not in Nigeria. You know, she already heard. I think a friend of her in the church called her and told her like, this boy is happening to your son. My mom would tell my sister would tell me that when my mom eats now, in the less than 2 minutes, she's in the toilet. She go and pull everything like, what's happening to my boy? What's happening to my boy? You know, she felt so bad, like she's the one that's put me in this. That if she actually stood behind me, I would not find myself in that situation. She didn't stand behind me. She had her own agendas too. She wanted to claim my dad's what they call it, will. All my dad wills was will to me, and it's when I get married I can get all that and have an access to all of them. So she wanted it because one was the other, my daddy was late, and my dad's family were already eyeing most of these properties. She wanted me to just get it. I'm like, and that was for her own agenda, yet destroying my own life. You know. And moving forward, I was fighting to the people, so they apologized and said they were going to sponsor my album release for that album. And don't forget, they are the one that actually wrote that story that destroyed, that caused me this pain. So they felt the only way they can foster the damage control was to actually release. So in the midst of when I was having problems with police and they were calling me left and right in the name of what investigation that I don't know what they're investigating, you know, they were always calling me. You know, I was not in my right mindset, and I was still planning for an event in that same time. You get? I was planning for an event at that same time. So they were pushing it. So some other people started, like Punch newspaper, started fighting silly people like, how can you write a damaging story about somebody and the week after you are pushing for the person's album release? What's happening? How can this be real? Bouquie, we're going to have part 3. So don't be in a haste, okay? You know, so how can I be doing this and this is happening around me? They started pushing that by the side. People were like, see, till date I still see messages of people during that cursing me, this and that, you know. They started that. Along the line, my sisters some of them did not know what was happening. The day they knew, the one I said lives in Abuja, that is the works with NNPC, that is the general market manager. She has a link with the presidency. I think she petitioned the IG. On that particular day, they invited me to the station. When I got to the station, I sat down with my lawyer, and in less than 10 minutes afterwards, don't forget, since I've been going to the station, I've not set my eyes on her. She has never been coming home. It's police officer that's been the smoke man. The person that's accused me, my life I've always called like, where's the accuser now? Where's even the person that she's a wife? Those guys don't forget that is a wife. My lawyer has been saying that I will petition the commissioner of police. This thing is a civil matter. It should not be to, he was always saying that. I was upset with my lawyer that don't say it's a civil matter. It's like you are trying to hide something, like this thing actually happened. Let them deal with it in the criminal way. Like, okay, good, you accuse somebody of stealing. Let it go the right way. Don't say it's criminal, don't say it's civil. Civil is like you're trying to bring it out of the face of people. Don't. So I sat down there and we continued on this matter. And in less than 10 minutes, I saw some men. They came into the premises in an Elox, white Elox. I saw a kind of gun I've not seen before. They were wearing an overall, but I saw Nigerian police. I'm like, God, shit, this guy don't go another place again. Waiting be the problem. She kill him more. You see, at a particular point, I'm like, what is this? Okay, before that time, I saw her once before that time. She came. That was what broke. That was what the police that were calling. What stopped them was when they invited her, she now came. And if you saw what she was doing, in the front of the police people, you know what I did? And I asked her, I said, please, what do you actually want? Between me and you, be sincere to yourself. You know that I don't want this marriage you brought. I know I didn't want, I had a life before you came here. You just kept on destroying everything. Please, who did I offend? Did I do something wrong? Can you just tell me? Can I apologize for it? Or what do you want me to do? In the front of the police officers there, I prostrated for her. And I was weeping. Like, please, just tell me what is it that I did? It was the police officer that was in charge of the case. Now get up and like, never. Get up. He told the woman, say, are you a madman? Woman, see me. I'm a man. I'm an African man. I will never kneel down. I will never even say kneel down for a man, woman. A man like this of this caliber now position for you in the public. What do you want? They got mad at her. It was that particular day, yes, that and I saw those police coming again. I'm like, what's happening here? When the police now came in, it was one that was on mufti. The ones that were wearing those overalls did not come upstairs. They stood by the Elox downstairs. And they now said, the one man was on native. He now came up. He said, I'm looking for Kesolo. So are you Kesolo? And in my mind, my heart was almost coming out through my mouth. Like, am I going to leave? Is it a matter of leaving from Lagos State Command again, which is the highest of Lagos? Where am I going to again? What's actually happening now? What do you guys want from me? Now marriage can't turn my life to this. What's happening? I was. Oh, the man has said, you need to calm down, okay? We came from Abuja on assignment directly for you from the IG. Let me cover my eyes so I don't cry. So, when he said from the IG, I'm like, hey, voila again. So, like, it was not enough. When he now said, do you know so? He mentioned my sister's name. I said yes. So my mind that came down, like, oh, my sister already know. And he said, your sister already was inside. We're interested in this case. So moving forward, I think is actually a high rank officer too, but because it was an assignment from the IG, so he now requested that he needed to see the commissioner. The commissioner had some people in this office. They walked those people out of the office, and when they walked them out of the office, all I knew was my sister said, he not called me. He called my sister on the phone and gave me a phone like, Solo, Bowen, she was okay. Oh, rubbish, we don't teach Jojo to Jackimo. Mark boy anything, but show him at the wall at home, Emma Balabuja, I'm ready for them. Let's start it. Now it was not a case of not me, a man. It was a case of a woman now, my elder sister, and whoever are them. Should I shock you? Don't forget, don't forget Okeke, which was the head of SARS. The first day was only when I saw him. After that day, I didn't see Okeke again. In all my examination period and interrogation period, I never saw Okeke again. Only for me to see Okeke come out. Bam! Okeke, I said, Okeke, now you be this. Where have you been? He said, just by my case, so you know, go understand. And he walked away. Immediately, the commissioner of police came out and like, sir, I'm on top of the matter, sir. Sir, I promise you, sir. No, they don't need, sir. They don't need, sir. I promise you, sir. He was speaking to the IG. The IG has already given them a warrant that they should bring me and any other person in the case, put on that van and drive all the way down to Abuja and bring us to Abuja. That he was interested in the case. Should I shock you? The commissioner then, I've forgotten his name, the Yoruba man, and I brought us inside the room. He said, I need the file for this man. I need this case. I'm interested in this case. He brought the case, said, woman, well, you know, I said that you're pregnant for this man. I read all the story and what lives inside of you? You know what he did? He brought his lighter from his table. Inside the office, I started burning the statement. He said, see, I don't want to ever see you in this surrounding of this Lagos State Police. If you like, go to Ibadan. You will meet me. If you like, go to Abuja. Go anywhere. The IG is involved in this case. How can you be doing this? Who is running this? Your husband's carry your money. You know they put on your money or your wife or your husband money. I said, sir, I didn't do that. I said, yes, I know. I said, sir, I don't want that case to go. I want to pay this money. Let me just go. Maybe this can actually be the last and the end. But after this, don't forget that she said she lost the pregnancy that time. You understand? And don't forget we are still husband and wife. And there's no divorce yet, you know. So at that time, she now claimed that she was pregnant. And truly, she was pregnant. At the time, she was pulling that case in the police station, you know, with me. And therefore, I advised me, like, Kesolo, don't just throw her away. Go into this thing. Let's see how it happens, Mike. You know, let's see how this thing goes. You know, so I went online and she started apologizing to me. Like, it was the devil, it was this, it was that. See, at that time, part of the thing she said to the public was that she was one that fits me. She does everything. I'm so careless that I will buy you a mobile phone. When I buy you that phone, I don't put my name. I'll put your name. So virtually most of the appliances I had in my house, like some of them had her name. She just say, I just write your name now. She do, you know, like that. Instead of now, I didn't pay attention that she was not even writing Mrs. Oyeniyi. She was writing her name. Her name, Oyeniyi in her name though, but she was putting her initials in the photo. You know, so she was showing people received that. Can't you see that she bought this? Can't you see she did this? So when she came back, don't forget, I said to you, I already started speaking to Saheed Osupa. That guy is a demon in man. He's the one God single-handedly used to transform a lot about me. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to church. You understand? I'm coming to church. Church, when the issue happened, then church, don't forget, I attend the church. The name of the church is Revival Assembly. Aslamadu Boko. I play the keyboard in the church as big as I was then. I was always playing the church. I go for choir rehearsals. I'm diligent in all this. Note, I don't play for money. I played in the church for free. You know, so I was playing in the church. When this issue happened, messages from left and right, some people were sending messages. They said I should not climb this altar again to play because I already had a bad image outside. I'm like, wow. Who sent you? Said from the head pastor. I said, wow. My family heard this and like, Shaiba and Sofuni in Yoruba, she be in the Pentecostal Kirilele. To buy a just the church that what to get old time church. O man joke, o man city ya what to consider. O man boya pa draw my friend, o man pa draw on low. Take my advice, Go on, you need couldn't go buy a shell. They said that. I said, wow. They called me several names. See, I'm not here to bring down church, but you see, henceforth, that's why I said, I think the pastor, what's his name is here, Pastor Kesley is here. I'm a preacher of church. I preach God to you. You need to know God in his fullness, in his awesomeness. Church has nothing to do with it. See, that pastor is a boy. That pastor, is a boy. Is a mortal like you. I'm gonna get there. You know, they said I shouldn't go there, so I was banned from playing. And me, it was a decision with me and God. Anyway, I'm gonna worship. I'm going to be part of it fully. This is just my give back to God, you know. Since I'm not going to be doing that, let me stay back in my house. So I wasn't going, you know. So I now, because of all I said about her being pregnant and all that, so I went back I asked her where she was staying. She said she moved everything out, that people were threatening her, they were embarrassing us, and I said, and that's why you took everything out. Okay. I said, so where are you? He said she's in one area, this and that. I said, okay, no problem. I called a friend of mine. Then there's a company in Nigeria, in Lagos, they called Andron's Home and Property. I know the owner of Andron's Home and Property. I called him. I need a flat, like a mini duplex, if I can get around, you know. They got me. I paid for it. I furnished the house. I put the house in shape. I as in, the stupid me then became sensible. Everything, I was writing receipts to kettle, boiling kettle. I got receipt of everything. You know, changed the apartment she was living, because in my mind, she's carrying my baby. Abi, at least the cause of it is, the last I can remember is that she's my wife, and I never caught her like this sleeping with her other man. So I will assume that it was my child she's still crying. So I did all that. The Bouquie, to be factual with you, the amount I spent in 2 months is unreasonable for someone that is in normal sense to spend it in 1 year. Because I wanted to make a point. I was spending all my money I had everywhere in my life. I pulled it out. You know, fixed her, set up the house, did everything. I told her, you know what? I can't come stay with you though, but I'll be coming once in a while to check up on you and the baby. When she sees me like this again, anytime I come and greet her, maybe I'm coming from the studio and I buy fruits and all that for her, she will kneel down on her feet crying. I'm sorry. I know about you. I have this and like, say, don't worry, see, it has happened. It's life. But as at that moment, as at the day we left the police station, was the day I started pressing for divorce. She didn't know. That's I started pressing it. You know, so funny enough, luckily enough, in the point of of pushing that, apologizing and begging her, I said, don't worry, at least it's for you. Now I understand it. I understand this game. I was just being real. I understand this game. So let's push on. You have a child. You know, so in the course of it, I was seeing those traces. I was beginning to know some things I was not putting my eyes down to know before. You know, don't forget, I didn't want to. It was not supposed to be a marriage between me and her. We were not supposed to have a relationship. It was supposed to be friendship. You know, so I didn't know her. I didn't take time to study. I know nothing about her. So in that time we came back, I started learning her. I started knowing her. I started seeing so many things. I found out that she was almost striking a relationship, even with the pastor of the church I go to. She's striking a relationship with him. I'm going to get this. There was a particular time in the process when I was just trying to recover. I took ill, so I wanted to. I just recovered, so I was still having this bitter taste in my mouth. I wanted to buy agbo, which is the herb, somewhere around my area. This area called Okera in Hogba, and there was a supermarket by the other side they called Adide. You know, so I parked off the road and walked into the supermarket. So my PA went out to go buy me the agbo, the herb. You know, so in that supermarket, in less than 10-15 minutes, some armed robbers came in. Those boys that always operate those years on bike, they entered, they collected everybody's phone, including mine. And the next day, I had a meeting with a company, and I can't forget the name of the company. It's called Ground Zero in Ebute Meta. I was supposed to have a meeting with them, my manager, a business meeting. So on that day, I was supposed to leave that place I bought the drug. I mean the herbs and the juice I was getting in the grocery store. I was supposed to go to her place that night and say hello to her before going back to my own house to sleep. So she said she had been calling me. She's not been able to reach me. She's been afraid. No problem. I said no problem. This was what happened. So I called a friend of mine through her phone. No, my manager's phone. Called a friend of mine that works with Airtel. I think it was what's the name of the company? It was Econet or what? I mean, it was Airtel now or Celtel then. Called the guy, my friend. I spoke to him to help me retrieve my line the next day so I can pick it up for the, So she had 2 phones with her, a tablet and a BlackBerry. The BlackBerry is one that rings all the time. Also, the tablet also uses the SIM card, but she doesn't receive calls on it. I think she does run social media and all that on it. So she wanted to give me the iPhone. I mean the BlackBerry. I said no. Oh, that. Let me just use this tab for my business. That when I'm coming, I'll pass to Computer Village and get a new phone. Behold, I went for the what do they call it? The meeting. So in that company, they were servicing their Wi-Fi in that company. So while I was in the meeting, it was my manager that was talking. So I was just fiddling with the tab, and I put on the Wi-Fi, pam, and it connected. I'm like, yo, I started saying, boom, 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 messages popping in. Somebody said, don't read it. Somebody said, read it. I opened. I started reading. Yo, I saw stuff. I almost collapsed. My manager was like, what's happening now? What's happening? And at that time, I didn't even know how to munch. So I had to collect our phone and start taking pictures. I saw stuff I don't want. Some I want to just hide it for their own sake here. For their own life. I want to hide it. Because you see, there's nothing you do in this life that you can never do and never have a return. You see, God will always see. People say God forgives. Oh, yes, God forgives. One thing I know is sure for you is heaven. But see, on this earth, you must get a reward for everything you do. Some people, I don't want to mention their names. A big producer in Nigeria, when the matter was happening to, was in a DM too, sending out numbers of journalists. Like, because I was always wondering how this guy used to get journalists. There's a particular journalist called Noye. Noye said she saw her, she was talking, and the day she now saw us together, Noye said, I bless God that I never wrote the interviews he did on my midget. I would have felt that I destroyed somebody. I began to see all that. And like I told you, they was already building a relationship with my pastor. They were already building up, firing the relationship. I saw all that too. You see, I was pushing divorce. These are part of the implements that I added into my divorce paper. This was I had, Abby. And I'm spilling it on this kind of. This was I've had, Abby. Is like I'm spitting this on this kind of platform. These are stuff I've never told anybody. Then I started using it to part for the divorce. Normal when it was time for attending for the divorce, the magistrate saw me, and she asked one question. Said, how did you find yourself here? Do you have a mother? See, if I check the number of time, I think it's just like 10 years thereabouts that I got back into a good time with my mom. Like since that time, I never wanted to see my mom. I'm sorry to say she has come to my house in front of my house, and I told her if she stays a more minute, I'm going to machete her. Because I believe that let's leave that. It's that went on, and where did I stop? Oh my God. I started pressing the divorce. Then the magistrate asked. I said, normally according to the constitution of Nigeria, it has to be over 2 years. Especially if the person is pregnant or whatever. But what is she seeing here? Like somebody is saying I'm a living witness. He said what she saw here, she's going to grant me the divorce. That they sent bail leave to her severally to tender to her to appear in court. She has turned it down. That with or without others, with the power invested in her, that she's terminating the marriage, and that's how I got my bill. That's how I got my bill for life. But now coming back, no, I forgot something. In the course of what's coming back, when she was always apologizing, we went for a Channel television interview. It was during that period, and people were looking at her like, Is it not this person that wrote a story and said that they break her head, they did this a few weeks ago, or and she's here and she was not supposed to be in that interview. I was supposed to be only me in that interview, you know. But before I had, okay, it was a sunrise interview, which was a live interview. Then afterwards, entertainment wanted to have an interview with me. Before I came out of there, they already started doing interviews for her. So they joined everything together. They released it. And we were like, that interview was almost like the first break that brought those people that I saw as friends back apologizing. Like, so how this thing happen? No, but that girl with the talk all this thing, I that's what you see with you. It was something like some people still not believe. Some people say like, ha, guess they don't do jazz. I only jazz we catch this girl. If you make person gonna talk all those kinds of things about you that can make you get back and go say these things. It was she said it by herself in an interview, still on Channel's television YouTube page or something. But I said that this thing is not true. That she's when she now messed it up for herself, like yes. That she wants to apologize to our in-law, which are my sisters, my mom. As at that time, when she was sitting in that interview, she never knew I was just trying to keep her up for the pregnancy. She never knew I was pushing the divorce. She was still there apologizing to them. That's why she messed it up herself. It would have shown that maybe somebody pushed her to say it. But you're apologizing. Why are you apologizing? You get? So, that was, after the divorce was when I saw God like, I think this is a new life for me. Friends left. Friends left, everybody gone. Friends of mine were calling me. Like I think it was Casey that called me. Casey Presh. Casey called me like, Casey Dafa. Omo, this is my publicity stunt. This one hard do. Omo, how you survive this thing? I said, then I think he was dating one girl with Bube. I said, call a Bube. You said, she beat beat him. I beat him. You to beat a Bube. Do your own publicity stunt now and see how it works. What you're talking about is a hell of stuff I went through hell. So that was when I started picking my life back, pieces by pieces. But I wouldn't lie to you.
What about the pregnancy? What about the pregnancy?
She was still pregnant, but because I didn't know that divorce would come that fast. I already know who my lawyer was already telling me that it was like 2 years. That if even they try to push it like a year before they can do the separate do the divorce, But it came faster. So she saw it. Like they already started posting even on her door. You understand? She saw it. And it was that time that even the house again I got again. I've heard again that same pastor got another place again that she had to move into. Is their own stuff, is their own story, But it too didn't know. At the point I was almost approaching that, sir, this girl, like this. So now should I shock you? The same thing she did to me, she did it to the pastor. This is a pastor that just lost his wife. And she just married. He just married a Kenyan, beautiful, musician. She's a musician in Kenya, started the life. This girl came into again. She didn't come in alone. She now went to pastor and told the pastor that she wants to be she does not marry, she's not marrying again. She's not okay. For someone to ask about the child, she gave birth to the child. I didn't attend. I was because we already had the divorce. So I just told myself like, including the father, including the mother and the child, I leave them. If it's mine, God will just put it up. I'm not going to do anything on my power anymore. I leave everything to God for Him to set. If we are going to set our eyes on ourselves ever again, so be it. But if not, but that's all. That's the end. So back to what I was saying. So I was almost approaching the pastor like, this. After she lied to the pastor again that she was not going to marry again, pastor stupidly brought her into the main force power of the church, which is the intercessory department. She started dictating for the church. Took over. When you enter a pastor room where his wife is and the wife walks out for you to enter into your matrimonial homes, it was that bad. Until one day the pastor's eyes opened and sent her out of the church. So many drastic. That's not my own story. It's their own story. You get? So it's a major. When I'm bringing it, like I said, I don't want anybody to pity me. I don't want anybody to feel like, you see, it's what a lot of us have gone through. So if you see me this way, a lot of things that's gone through in my life that are actually shaping me to who I am. So not looking at it, it's so nice, it's a gentle guy, this and that. Fine. It's still the life that's made me like this, because I've learned not to let you know who I am until you strike. Then you know that I'm more than who I am. It's a major story for me. That has been the problem. That was the problem. That was the first ever problem I had in my life in this industry. So when I was trying to come back again, you see a lot of people will shoot arrow at you. I will go sit down. See, do I tell you the funny thing? This is over many years, over 10 years or close to 10 years. Somebody will come. I will still, you still see me put up some things online. Some people will come like, you are talking about relationship, you are even talking to. You that you beat your wife. I still get it to date. So it's a wound that is not, it never go finish. So it's as I'm talking about it like it just happened yesterday. Because it's people still remind me of it. The cyber bullies, they will not let it rest. You know, this is a major one for men. Stand your ground. If you do not want, you do not want. Nobody they coach person for it. And it's learned, we should learn to close our legs. It's not only the woman that should close their legs. The men should learn to close their legs. You must put your career should be above any other thing. Not even your career. God should be above everything. What you adore should be above anything that exists. Every other thing will follow at its own time. That's my own. Every other thing will follow at the own time. That was what I faced. I was working on Kepi. Kepi pulled out too now. Before she died, we had fights. She pulled out. She started working with TY Mix. I don't have a problem with that. But when I called her, I said, but we started this project now. I said, "Case that beg. See the matter with you on ground now." And I look at Kefi. You will say you get problem with your ex-husband. And Alex family were calling me then and were threatening me. And I told them that, you see what, this girl, she must blow. You don't like it or not, go blow. And imagine doing a song, Kokoroko, a gospel music that blew in the club, and people never knew it was a gospel music. To Sapele Water, to the album, to the mix of Branama. It's life. I've learned a lot. And I'm still learning. You know, but these are shaping me to who I am today. I have a beautiful family. You know, so it's a major one. It's a major one. So seeing us shine and people and see me, people ask for this and I'm able to do food for them. It's God all the way, bro. But I've gone through a lot that's shaping me to make me who I am. Somebody look at it, when you have this problem, call case solo. If you have this problem, call this case solo. And police catch you, call case solo. Yes. Okay. I've gotten to, but I went through a lot before I got myself to that point. It's a major journey. It's it. But I thank God I am here today to be able to say this part of my life, you know, that people should not just see me. Someone's about my girlfriend. Funny enough, my girlfriend is still there. It's sad. I feel so sad that, you know, she's not married yet. And she still has my tag on my name. I think one time I was trying to speak to one or two people that can help rub off my name off her arm. And don't forget that one, this one that did all this bad to me, so I had my name on her hand. I don't know why. I think she wanted to use that against my girlfriend. Like, she was like, okay, you are feeling superior because you had this. Okay, me to have carry his name. You know, it wasn't easy. Thank God for life.
Wow, what a story! Wow.
So people should not see me. I want you to celebrate my life. You understand? I want to celebrate my life as being what I've been through, not just as a celebrity, but as human. You know, I go through a lot. So we don't just see celebrities and just envy. You just want to have that name. What happens behind the scene, you don't want to hear it. Now I've gotten to the point now by if I go on the road, if I drive alone, if I'm on the road, if downfall, if it's my car, I will come down. I will box his face.
Pastor Kingsley is asking, are you married now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. What a story.
I have some few words I want to share with Pastor Kingsley. Afterwards, I don't know. I'll try and follow him up and talk to him about it, because some few things I need to let him know, because, you know, it's inside me. I'm not the kind of person that want to destroy a man of God or whatever. I'm not in for it, you understand? But the truth is, I don't support churches. I don't support pastors. I always support the cause of being a Christian and believing God. And if you want to practice, if you want to live, if you want to walk in the way of God, walk in the way of God. I don't adore pastors. I see every pastor as a human, but I just special being God has given a special title or a special gift that is different from mine. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to talk to him about it because I don't want to spill some things out.
Yes, go talk to him in private. Pastor Kingsley.
Because it's
Do
somebody that
his
I've actually
number?
watched.
Do you have his
I'll get
number?
the number from you. I'll get from you.
Pastor Kingsley, should I give him the number? Give me a yes. I'll give you the number. You guys talk. He can
You
mentor
know,
you. We can listen. You guys can really actually. But this is your interview, Pastor
yeah, of
Kingsley.
course.
Just give me a yes. Listen,
You know,
man. You've listened.
it's part of the stuff. So if you actually look at us and you envy me, you want to be like me. There's a lot of story behind it, and you
Okay, he
know,
said DM me anytime. He'll
okay,
respond to your DM. Yeah. Okay.
you know, so there's a lot that's been happening, and you know, after that time, um, my career went to sleep
Okay.
because
I'll give you.
everything I was churning out was eating the rock. You know, it gave me an eye to actually figure myself for some other businesses. Then I understood that housing business, like, you know, building houses and renting houses and all that,
Real
came into my
estate.
head. You know, so I was into I had to get into it. You know, it gave me a lot of time to actually invest. You know, to get myself back. But I wouldn't lie to you. A lot of people like this and that. When it was that film was so mad that it was, you know, scattering the head. I don't think I've ever made the kind of money I'm making now. You get what I'm saying? So I believe in every part of fall you have, God is actually pushing you up for something greater. And that's what actually happened to me. That's what
Wow.
actually happened to me. You know, so people ask like, how have you been doing? How have you been, you know? Someone said we must talk after this interview. I really said so much that, you know, a lot of people have not had. People who are close to me actually think that they don't actually know this part of the story. You know, some people still have in the mind like this was a bad guy, but you know, I went through a lot because I needed to save this. But I had to in fact, when we went on break, somebody sent me a message in my phone, please, it's enough, please, don't let. I said, man, I need to let this out of my chest. The reason why I'm letting out again is because this is going to be on YouTube. You get, you know, if it was just a mere hearsay and it goes, no, I need this to be registered somewhere. I don't know. I'm not dying tomorrow, but I need it to be registered somewhere where I can speak like this because I've moved on. My family is I have a marvelous wife. I have children. I just get back to a baby girl, you know, again. You know, so it's a wonderful world around me. You understand? So I don't want to I've grown past the time where I'll be worrying about people's life. What about the
Pastor
side guy?
Kingsley said, what about?
Stood by me. Although I ran away from me at a particular time because when I'm in a strong person, I don't want to talk more about that. You know, was about introducing to one or two things like, see, you need to know something, you need to be strong in this aspect, you need to see me as I do like this. No woman if try that with me, what Yahweh. You know that kind of thing. So in his mindset, like you need to
Maybe I'll bring some on my show.
please bring him. Bring him. Is people think he's because he sing Fuji music. It's not. His sense is as in, and
I know.
it's clean. He speaks good English. You know, so it was like, guy, let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. Sega, that's one of this man. This man's another person that is I don't know if you can bring him up. Sega Link.
Send a link.
Yeah.
Send a link. If you want to come on my show, I will DM you. I've never met you, but I see what you're doing. I'll DM you.
Sega is sick.
Listen,
You know.
Solo, man. I mean, you are amazing. We've heard your story. And I mean, I'm short of words because this is amazing. So this is what we do here in Bouqui'S Place, right? We practically equip people with tools that they can use, right? For whatever they're going through. If you were to do this again, what would you do different?
Differently.
The whole story that you've told us, what would you do different? What would you have done differently?
First thing is this, which is what I've always been doing. Try as much as possible not to entertain temptation. See, Sega has worked with you in those media before, and you redeem
Oh,
us.
really?
You know, So if ever you if trust me, you're supposed to make sure that you resist temptation. Temptation is what actually messed me up. If I had the time again, I would try as much as possible to make sure I resist. And if I find that I can't resist that temptation, one thing I will make sure that I will ever do in my life is this: I will never expect to see a support from anyone. The only support you need in your life is you and God. Nobody's a backbone. Nobody believes you. Nobody trusts you. You are the one who trusts yourself. You are the one that can look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that, hey, Solo, you are a liar. You're the one that can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you are a thief. Stop. Nobody can never tell you the way you will tell yourself. So I have learned to stand on my own. Like you said, some temptations once in you is too late. Yes, you have some temptations that, but the point is that's why I said that if you find yourself in that temptation, like for example, I found myself sleeping with her when I had a girlfriend. Good, I wasn't married, but I was, just make sure you stand. If I stood my ground, Bouquie, if I have messed up that marriage and I did not turn up, I did not follow the word of that so-called clergyman. I've understood something in the recent. I always say something to my wife. I said, I found out that most time we look at Wole Soyinka, that he is full of wisdom. He has white hair. And do you know that Wole Soyinka has so many friends too that has white hair and they have no wisdom?
Don't leave me. Don't leave me. True.
Yes. They also grew old. They grew to that old age. They had the white hair. But they have been stupid from secondary school. University, they call them stupid. They married, the wife they married to call them, say, oh, they're near a stupid man. And they have white hair. Does that give you an assurance that is that a certification for you to go and meet such man and say, daddy, and say, that man has a white hair, he can advise you. Don't forget, his mate knew him that he was foolish. And he never changed from being foolish. So you must learn who you speak to, know who to talk to. Gray hair does not mean wisdom. Yes,
the Bible says it is better to listen to the words of a wise man than the song of a fool.
I've been running away from quoting the Bible. It's not like I don't know the Bible. I've been running away from quoting it, so people don't call me pastor. You understand? I don't want to be in it. I just want to be very realistic with people, because I found out that this Bible has been used in the wrong way. We quote scriptures that we can only quote in a chapter. We just quote one verse. If you continue that verse, you find out that it does not have a link to what you are relating it with. We quote scriptures to actually meet our what we want, what we feel. You get what I'm saying? So I built my life now with God personally. If tomorrow somebody hears that Kesolo gives another woman pregnant and I'm married to another woman, or one child is outside there wanting, it's my cup of tea. Sorry, I'm saying that, but this is reality. You must stand your ground. That's what I'm saying. You must be yourself. Let nobody be a school for you. Bouquie, you need to fail. You need to fall for you to learn. Absolutely. If somebody comes and borrows you their brain, if they come easy, you appreciate it like when you fall yourself. You see, when you fall, by the time you're standing up, you're not standing as a midget again. You're standing up as a giant, bigger than who fell. That is what they have taught me. So for anybody who actually want to pick for my matter, the point is this: you are a celebrity. It happens to bankers too. Bank managers, you see many of them, they'll come and some people say they're marketers. They come, they strip them, they mess them up, mess their family up. A lot of them are going to a lot of stuff. You get what I'm saying? So it's stand up, stand on your own, believe your own. See, let your belief be wrong. When you make mistakes, you will correct yourself. Don't look for any pastor anywhere. A pastor that I'm going to go and meet and tell my problem. And when I go to his house and one of the boys say, sit down outside, he's coming. And with my ears, I forgot I'm a musician. I'm a sound engineer. My ears are tuned. At least I can hear the sound of a pin. And I hear the wife saying that, this is the person I'm taking my own problem to advise me. So don't you think it's high time we be to sit down ourselves and talk to ourselves, lecture yourself? Like I said to you when I started, everybody write books. He who wrote that book based on his own issue or what he was going through at that moment. Be your own author.
Punchline. K-Solo drop
No,
punch.
but for you, be the author of your own life. Be the author of your own life, because everything you read is based on that person's problem. It's like all my friends that I don't look down a book. Like I told you, I read so many books. See, I'm a fan of Miles Moreau. I read plenty of his books. But when I started growing, I understand that you see that life in that Yankee, you don't want the life here. The way the women behave here, different from the way men behave here. You get what I'm saying? So you can't merge it. You can't merge it. How can somebody in government steal money that belongs to pensioners? Pensioners are people that have worked their life in the government and they are almost dying. And it's just those that change. They need to survive. Some of them even don't have children that are doing well. And somebody sat down and ate that money and you are comfortable. So can that happen in another country? See, you can understand. So this is the black man country we live in. So when you're reading, you read sense in what you are reading. If there's no sense in it, close that book. Don't fool yourself. So in all that happened to me, I have learned a lot. I've learned to stand my ground. I don't have a friend as journalist anymore. Every journalist,
I'm your friend.
I see them.
I'm your friend. K-Solo, I'm your friend.
When I said I don't have a friend as journalist anymore, I'm not afraid to tell you what I want to say. I'm not afraid that make you not go talk am. Feel free, enjoy. So when you ask me a question, I'll tell you, yes, I told you. I'm not afraid of the fans. I found out that the fans are let me use this dirty word, they're ashawo. They're not stuck to one person. The same fan of Whiskey is the same fan for Davido. You get what I'm saying? Share the same fans like this. So why you're afraid about you are losing this person, you're losing that fan. I'm not afraid of losing anybody. What is your own is your own. What belongs to you belongs. What stands for you will stand for you. What's your own is your own. So in her, if you can resist the temptation of making business, when somebody wants to say hello to you, if you see, when anybody comes around me right now, I check up what you are saying hello for me to. For you need my help. We need to state the what our friendship is for. We must state it. When I mean I'm stating, not like by fight too. We must be clear for ourselves. Like you're saying hello to me. What do you need me for? Like some artists will come up to me, hey bro, how far I say make I can't greet you. They'll bring wine for me, and I'm like, guy, don't bring wine for me. What do you need for me? Are you my friend? Do you want me to produce you? Tell me. You can't afford my money. I'll be okay. How much do you have? I can help you. So don't try to be my friend, because the point is you're a smoker. I'm sorry to say. I'm not down anybody. You're a smoker. I don't smoke. I don't drink. So how can we be friends? It can't work. You get? So let it be clear that you want me to work for you. That's the reason why you are trying to be a friend. So don't try to be a friend. These are the kind of people I'm talking about. We must be able to checkmate ourselves. Know who you was your friend. Some people have big space. Have they dropped so many people that are not supposed to be friends to their space. And the real friends don't have a space around them again. And you think you have so much friends. But inside the 20 friends you have, you only have 2 that are real friends. The remaining 18 are there for personal and selfish reasons. So I've learned that I don't have a friend as a journalist. The friends I have journalists, I can name their name. I know you, Bouqui'S. I know Azuka. I know I have names. I will mention names for you. You get people that will hear your story or yet talk about you, and you call me. When you call me, I hear this. I say, "Well, write I beg. I need that story. Write it." You get? I don't care. So we must get to that point where stop being afraid of what is not even going to happen. Let's stop being afraid of it. If I had stood my ground that time, this wouldn't have happened. But you know what? I'm happy it happened, because you know what? It gave me so much good. Let me give you a testimony that happened to me. A fan, and I don't know, one time in this matter, I met him in the mechanic place. I think they bashed his car. He was driving an LR3 that year. I was driving my Camry then. And he said he wanted to fix it. And he's like, K-Solo, you are K-Solo? I said, yes. He said, I said, I'm sure you must have had a lot. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm okay, I'm fine. You know, and the man looked at me like this. I've not even asked you. It means he did not do that stuff. The man went to his car, you know. He's a big man who went to his car, bought his iPod. The old iPod. When Apple started doing iPod, that very heavy, big one. He showed me songs of artists that have produced in years that I don't have on his iPod. That means he has been a fan of my production. Should I shock you? My first house that I ever had, this was the person that bought it for me. He said part of what she sold. She said that you do not have a house. That you don't have a house of your own. Since how many years have you been doing your career? He was the one that made it happen. So in every evil, there's always a good God wants to bring up. That's why I said that. See, I won't pray for this to keep happening to happen to me again. But you know what? This actually did a miracle in my life. That was the beginning of me calling myself a landlord. So in the course of COVID-19, people are actually afraid. How do I pay my house rent? How do I do this? God never made it happen for me that way.
Wow.
So to anybody wants to ask, I want to know again, please, if you cannot resist that temptation, if it happens to you, when there's a problem for it, please stand your ground. Don't let an issue move you into what you are not prepared for, because you will cry out at the end of the day. If I stood my ground, Bouquie, do you know that pregnancy would have dropped? The same way it dropped. And there won't be a marriage. There won't be anything that will put me in the position where somebody will nail me with what is not supposed to be. And of course, I'm in the black man industry whereby everybody just sees you what you have done. They see you as a threat. That's the reason why a big producer, very big producer, can be giving a woman names of journalists and phone numbers to call, because you are actually a threat to them and they want to nail you and bring you down. It's sad. It's sad when I see women that you guys are sending this thing to yourself, like nominated me. Women support women. The truth is, how many of you guys are supporting yourselves? If I always tell something to my wife, I said, if your home scatters today, know that it's another woman that is stronger than you that can hold it and can break it. A man won't break it. It's another woman that can destroy your home. Do you get what I'm saying? It's another woman that can destroy your home that's stronger than you. And she said, no, because it's not possible. I said, okay, let me give you a reason why it's possible. If you're the kind of woman that just gives a man food standing like this, and only thing she does is just kneel down and give the food, that's one thing you don't have. She has used it to bury you. You're the one that can open your mouth and just say to your husband. You don't have a respect. You can't even just look at that man. You just hammer his name on it. Bam, hammer his name on his head. And one other woman is just looking at, and when it's greeting in Yoruba, Eka call me. He's using air. You understand? Little stupid things like that. He has bought your home from you. But the truth is this: it takes another stronger woman to destroy your home as a woman. So you have to be aware of that stronger woman. That's the reason why they say, you think you know everything? No. You should study more. You get what I'm saying? So basically, that's the part of it that I stand and I've understood over life, and I'm happy about it. And for the industry too, people who are claiming that they love themselves, they don't love themselves. See, we actually love. Ask the young boys. You understand? Many of them, that are producers, that are big producers that are trending right now. They'll call, bro, I have this problem. Some even call, this artist stole my beats. This one stole my credit. Many of them have intervened. We've looked into it. As it's a Sega here, you know, collect face right for a lot of people. You know, so if you don't find me doing music production, there's so many things I'm into. You find me doing, you know. And thoughts about IT is my head. I'm full blown IT man. You know, so it's I don't know, a lot is still bubbling to my head, but I think I just put a pause. The real ones that I think people need to know, I've given out to them. Please guys, be careful. These women, they come in very good skin. Even women know them by themselves. Women are afraid of themselves. You know that this girl, bad, this one bad. You know, it was a woman that's my manager now that stood behind me. I'm like, hey, this girl bad. I didn't say I'm mad, but this one mad. Bouquie, thanks for having me. I'm so grateful. I feel so light. Like I'm able to let this out for the first time on a live. Wow. I'm still doing music. Who does that? Who ever do music? I'm still doing music. So many adverts you are seeing on TV. I'm the one that is actually behind it, because I found that most of artists in Nigeria are allowing. We just say, I beg, I get one song for you, I beg. They don't pay. Only few people. The people, in fact, gospel artists pay more than several artists in Nigeria to me, since I've been working now. So I've been doing a lot of adverts, and adverts has been paying me more, you know, than that. And like I said, I've made a lot of IT stuff, so I've been developing apps and lots of like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
With all this you've gone through, would you sign another artist? Would you sign another? Because you didn't talk about Patoranking. You didn't talk about.
There's so many things, like I told you. Patoranking was, when that matter happened, Patoranking was under me. You understand? Patoranking, there's another girl called Splash. She raps too. Patranking and Splash, those two of them are the one I actually put, you know. I remember that time when I would chase Splash on where it's weekend, you go home, she'll start crying, boss, I can't go home, oh, it's because I'm a girl, you know. So Patranking stood with me that time. I had to tell Patranking, you know what? With this matter that is on ground, I don't think it can help you. I need your career to fly, you know. And I moved in with Timaya and all that, you know. That was how I, oh, it's a long story, man.
Let's do part 2 another time. Listen, man, we love you so much. And the question I was gonna ask,
And one
would you
person
say
I miss again is OJB. OJB is someone that actually stood by me too, you know, OJB and Kabasa too stood by me. Those people are realists. I'm sorry that I'm mixing the two of them together. OJB is late now, you know. I think a few weeks before OJB died, I still drove him, you know. We went for an event together and, you know, and he couldn't drive. He had an attack, you know, so I had to drive him all the way, you know. I've learned from a lot of people too as well. Because before I can actually make somebody a close friend to me, I want to be close to you. I want to know your life, know your story. You know, I want to learn from you and pick from a lot of stuff from you, you know. You know, Adi Kabasa is a very real guy, I wouldn't lie to you. I've had so many issues. Kabasa will call me like, Kesolo, don't say anything, please. Adi Kabasa also send me Bible verse.
yeah.
We send Bible verse. We send Bible verse that read this Bible verse. Just get it, let it get your mind off it. You know? There are bad guys in this industry. They want to bring out with good guys, but you know what? This industry, I've passed that level. I won't lie to you. I'm not into any occultism or whatever. But you see, as we did, we're full ground. We're ready. Anytime, anything, come.
That's in the happen. Wow! Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for coming to Bouqui'S place, man. This is so. I will be running away from girls. Okay, I'm a girl. Okay, so I can't run
Yes,
away
you need
from
to.
girls.
You need to.
No,
You need
I'm
to
here.
run away from them.
Running away from boys.
But still run
You
away
know,
from girls. You need to choose the right girls too, because you know what? At the end of the day, if you decide to choose tomorrow, you must also be careful of the kind of girl you're going to introduce your spouse to. So many things, they plenty.
But you know what we have?
They will tell you that okay, you're not married, me too, I'm not married, we are friends, okay. Oh, and you guys will see yourself like, oh, we are married friends. Then okay, this is my party because we share something in common. And the day your level just change. You are so happy to pick up your phone like,
Tell them.
Funke Machele, this is even proposed to me.
Funke.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the problem.
Funke, your name enters story again.
That's the beginning of the problem.
Listen, man, you know, we could talk on and on and on and on. But thank you so much for sharing your story. We love you so much. I'm going to put it on YouTube. You guys that missed the whole thing, start from, just sign up to Bouqui'S place, subscribe, hit the bell so that you can get notifications. Thank you so much, Kesolo, for coming to Bouqui'S place. It's been a pleasure.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. It's you. It's just because it's you, and I've been waiting for that particular platform whereby I can open my mouth to speak, where it's not going to be biased. Our TV stations are sold out. Even though I know many of their bosses, you know, they want to stand like this. They want to censor one or two things. This is a place you can't censor. This is a place whereby your editor cannot say, no. This is where I said it. We're gonna find it live there.
Yeah.
So let it fly. Let it fly.
Wow.
So like I said, stand your ground. Anybody that hear anything about me tomorrow, if you hear me that Kesolo just married a new wife, you get Kesolo just bought a new house, Kesolo just is my problem. It's not your problem. It's high time we need to look out for our own self. My own problem, your own problem too much. So don't worry about me. Please let me be.
I love you so much.
So somebody comes at you and say that, how come Bouquie has not married? Please, what's your problem?
You say I am not married. I am married. Jesus,
or somebody said, somebody now said that Bouquie, what's your business?
What's your business? I am married.
Oh, well married to Jesus. Jesus is the main thing, man.
Listen, man, thank you so much for coming to
I'm
Bouqui'S
so
Fest. We
grateful.
love you.